Should be live now. Hello there. Hello, and everyone. Alan Stanley. Hello there. Our night is going okay so far. Taking it day by day, like everyone else is.
Yep. Taking things day by day. I'm to the point with where I only am taking a pill like every other day or every 2 days. So things are
Very good.
getting better, but I still have to take fucking pills, and things are still sensitive. Like it's crazy. I just take a shower and I get out and I look like I was attacked by a ghost. It was like I was in the entity. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's just a shower, just water, it's just like redness everywhere. It goes away. It doesn't really hurt. It's just bizarre.
But I'm glad you're getting better. Very glad to hear that.
And I'm glad to be here again. These are a lot of fun. I just got done doing a podcast for my long running podcast, Uncovering Unexplained Mysteries. We talked about a couple more unsolved mysteries cases, so that was fun.
What was one of the
And
things you talked about today?
so we talked about a couple different cases. We talked about one case of this couple who was murdered by this guy. He just decided to take an AR-15 and just unload it into their car when they were up at a secluded place, just spending some time with one another. And this guy just walked up and just killed him because apparently he did it because he just wanted to see if he could get away with it. People are just fucked up, man. And then this other guy, he lost his kid due to a miscarriage, and then he goes to the funeral for the lost kid, and he apparently said that he heard a voice in his head tell him that, why are you mourning for this one child when there are all these other children that die due to abortion? And then he decided to go on this crusade to set up plans to kill abortionists. Now, he didn't actually get away with it, but he did get arrested and sent to jail for some other reasons. And then he escaped, but then he was caught later because he would go to like Kinko's and work on his abortion murder website at the local Kinko's.
A website?
Yeah, he had a website where he was like listing all the things he was going to do in plain view. So, yeah.
Jesus. Well, we got some people in here. Hello, Seth. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Clark. Johnny Jerry. Uh, that's a big reason, but is
Ooh,
that the only
yeah,
reason?
that's a big reason for me as well. I'm a
Is
part
that
of a Facebook group that talks about like 4Ks and Blu-rays, and somebody made a post saying like, what sequel do you hate the most? And I wrote like multiple paragraphs as to why Alien 3 is that sequel for me. A big part of it is Hicks and Newton Bishop getting killed because it was something that easily could have been written around, easily could have been fixed. There were multiple different writers that were like, hey, you can still do this bleak film, but you could still have Newt alive at least, or you could still have something there so you can carry the franchise on and make it so Aliens wasn't fucking pointless. And no, I think it was either David Giler or Walter Hill that was like, no one really cares about Newt. Newt's not that important of a character. And then, of course, you have the whole thing with Michael Biehn and how he wasn't even asked about anything. He didn't even know that Hicks was dead until
right?
he found out about it, and then was like, wait, you didn't ask me for permission to use my likeness?
It would still be a poor film in terms of plot holes, in terms
Mm-hmm.
of some shoddy effects. It's not CG. I forget what technique it is. It's not
Rotoscoping.
rotoscoping. Those are pretty bad. It has merits, the music, the up close xenomorph
Yeah,
shots,
Elliot
but
Goldenthal did a great job with the score. I'm not going to really say Fincher's direction was bad,
the
especially considering the
characters.
circumstances.
I don't care about a bunch of prisoners with bald heads, and at times you couldn't tell who was who in the
Yeah,
finale.
no.
And the
And
rapist and the
it even
murderer.
made Ripley unlikable.
Yeah, it didn't make sense why she had sex with a prisoner 2 days in.
No.
Charles Dance's character, who could have done anything. See, my nose
And
is
then you
running. Just
have
take a-
I liked the character played by Charles S. Dutton, but that could have been Hicks.
Yeah,
You easily could have just made that character Hicks. And that would have been, a respectful way to have him die if you were going to do that. And then you could just have Newt still alive, like in
well,
the
you don't even
stasis
have to.
chamber.
You don't even have to have. Imagine how much more powerful it would be if Hicks had to lead Ripley. You know that asshole guy at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
It could be a combination of those two characters. Charles has
yeah.
done that asshole guy. Why does the asshole be the only lone survivor of that
Yeah.
Alien trilogy?
Yeah, that's
That was
not good either.
so. There's a lot, but it would
And
not
then
be
there's the William
outright
Gibson script. Then there's the William Gibson script that they didn't do because it's too much like Aliens. So it's like multiple firefights and multiple battles with an alien queen and just all this badassery. And then they were like, no, let's not do that.
which is not the one used for the novel, the comic book.
No, it's used for a different novel. Because I found that out that there's another novel that is based on that first draft. For some reason, the comics adapted the second draft, which isn't as widely known. I don't know why.
Which seems like that the comic book version was like the cheaper version. Like we need to get the budget down, so do another draft. I don't know why you would not do a comic on the more expansive version, but just the people
what it is.
What's the big deal with this script? I'm like, because that's not the script we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's just one of those things where there is a multitude of different factors. It just seemed like it was a middle finger to the fans of Aliens and fans of the franchise in general. They had the wrong idea. Like, it's not about the alien; it's about Ripley. It's not called Ripley's. Believe it or not, like that's not the franchise we're talking about here. It's called Alien.
And obviously, Sigourney Weaver didn't put out the pastures, came back as a clone, and 4 years later,
it just caused so many problems. Then that's why Resurrection exists the way that it does. It was so avoidable. It was just stupid, trying to be edgy and unpredictable, and the whole theory of like, we'll make it closer to the first movie, go back to the roots. We don't have to kill Ripley off. You don't have to do all this extra bullshit in the beginning to make it more like the original. And isn't that more derivative if you're just doing the same thing as the original?
Obviously not. I mean, Stream 5.
Oh, yeah. Or the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. But we got quite a few people. Thank you all for joining us. I agree. I did finally see the Batman, a review.
Yeah. Robert Pattinson stunned me. I thought he would do an all right job because I know he's a very capable actor from the clips that I've seen from some of his other movies that he's done since Twilight. But I was not expecting him to be this fucking good. Like, this is hands down the best Batman I've seen since Michael Keaton. And there's a chance that if he keeps this momentum in, the other films, like he might even surpass Keaton. As much as I love Keaton, like there's a chance that he could possibly do that if he just continues this trajectory. Because there's just so much about that performance that I really liked. And no, he's not built and jacked like John Cena. But that doesn't mean
neither was Michael Keaton.
Neither was Michael Keaton. I mean, that's my problem. There are people I could throw him across the room. It's like, well, you could probably do the same with Michael Keaton, but good luck.
Yeah. And I will be doing a review in the future in a week or two, but I'll just say what was also good was that there was an actual arc for Batman.
Yes.
I did like the idea.
I love the idea, the message of the film that Matt Reeves had.
Yeah, I came up with a quote, vigilante is fleeting, heroism is forever.
Yes.
That's kind of the point of the movie is vigilante gets you so far, but it's self-destructive. And
yeah, it's all about his evolution from being vengeance to becoming something more. And when I saw that in the theater and I heard that narration from Batman at the end, it just clicked for me, and I really liked the film because I was like, I liked the movie anyway up until that point. But when that moment clicked, I was like, this is Batman. This is who he is. This is everything he stands for. They got it.
That was Nolan's Batman Begins to me done right. What he was trying to do at the
Yes.
end of Hope. I mean, you're more of a fan of that film than I am, but I can't stand that movie for a variety of reasons. To me,
I can't stand the first half. It's incredibly dull and tedious.
Bad
sit through
action
with all the
shaky cam action
yeah.
too. And people, oh, it doesn't have much action. Really, none of the Batman films have a lot of action if you really look at them. But when it's there, you could argue maybe has more fighting than some of them. It's
absolutely. And I mean, there are Nolan films that have a lot of fighting in them, but they're done so poorly that it doesn't really register in the same way.
Like Dark Knight Pisses.
Yeah.
With Bane. Hello, Doctor. Welcome to die.
Like, you could definitely see that Matt Reeves and whoever was doing the choreography was inspired by John Wick, and that's a good thing. Like, you want to do something with a series of fights, and you want to have some really bone crunching battles. Like, that's a great page to take from. I think it fit with Batman really well too. When he goes to the nightclub, and I've seen some people have issue with that. Like, he's too reckless and blah blah blah. That's the whole point. He's supposed to be reckless. He's suicidal. He doesn't care whether he lives or dies at that point.
It even says that not only is it year 2, but it says like this is why there's not a lot of Bruce Wayne. They make it apparent that he's, as they say, it's like it's an obsession. It's like a drug addiction. He thinks Bruce Wayne is pointless. He thinks being Bruce Wayne is pointless. That's why he's Batman. He feels that's only worth 24/7 to be in Batman. And that's when he realizes when Alfred gets hurt.
Yeah.
I won't spoil, for those who haven't seen, I won't spoil too much. I'll wait for but stuff happens and he's learning catharsis, and it's not hammering it home. Pretending like Christopher Nolan would have.
Yeah, and I like what they did with certain established characters as well. It was different, and I thought it actually was fairly respectful. And I definitely do not get why people think it's a bad film because it's woke. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Just because of one line of dialogue from Catwoman and a bunch of other stuff you pull out of your ass, like I don't get that at all.
I don't get it either.
Go ahead.
Like they forget. Do people remember Eartha Kitt?
Yeah,
that was Catwoman. I mean,
or Halle Berry.
Yeah, I mean that was bad for a lot of reasons, but not for that.
But the thing is, like, if you don't like the film because it doesn't really grab you when it comes to the plot or whatever, that's one thing. But if you were into the movie and then one line of dialogue happens and that kills the film for you, I think that's just ridiculous. It really does. It really is.
Yeah, one line, that's a bit much, even for us.
I mean,
but there's also
we've seen films we really like where it's like, oh, come on, like, did you really need to have that in the film? Like, do you need to have a moment like that? Like, no.
I mean,
even Batman Returns. I love Batman Returns. I rewatched that recently.
That's a good one.
And I actually would say it's my personal favorite because it's just such a richly layered film. And there are some moments in that where I'm like, well, that's lame. Like the whole bit where Batman stops because Catwoman's like, I'm a woman, how could you? And it's like, oh, or the whole thing where, you know, it's eat floor, it's high in fiber. Like that's a really bad line. And there are some moments where, you know, the tone. Yeah, the tone is a bit off.
It's a good movie. I always like Batman Returns.
Yeah, but there's all this other stuff that's just so good that I'm willing to look past that. So that would be like saying Batman Returns sucks because of one bad joke.
I don't like that Ernie Hudson dies in this, but I still love the film.
Yeah, I love the film too, even though Ernie Hudson dies and it's lame. So yeah.
So I think we're definitely going to get some more questions about that, but get to some of these others. Your favorite episode of The X-Files? Mine, I always go back to Home, which is a take on Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Really good pick. Yeah.
That's a better Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that came out.
Yeah,
it really is. And its style, it's creepier. That episode was creepier than that fucking movie.
And it's not rated R. and it doesn't
Right.
have a ton of gore. It just shows how strong writing can be when it comes to creating, genuine scares and genuine mood and atmosphere.
And that was season 7 or
I think it was
somewhere around
wasn't
there.
that an earlier season? I could be wrong.
I know another favorite is X Cops, where they were on the TV show Cops. Like that was more of a funny one.
I still
but
need to see the majority of the show, but I do remember seeing Home. It was like a rerun on Fox with my dad. I was staying at my dad's place, and I remember just being super captivated by that entire episode. Like that really, like that was one of the first X-Files episodes where I was like, wow, okay, I could see why people were really into the show when it aired. The other one for me is the one with the Fluke Man. Like that's the one, I think it was like one of the first ones I remember seeing, and that one really stuck with me.
That's called The Host, I believe.
Yeah, I was like a kid, or like at least a preteen, like really young, and that shit gave me nightmares. Really stuck with me, man. And nowadays I just really like it for other reasons alone, not just nostalgia. I think it's a good episode in terms of the writing and some great makeup effects. One of these days I'd love to just check out the whole series. I have it on Blu-ray, just haven't gotten around to it. There's a lot of stuff I haven't gotten around to. I still haven't finished Tales from the Crypt. I'm almost there though. I'm like halfway through season 6.
well,
And I'm over halfway, and then after that I just have season 7.
when you watch X-Files, skip the revival. You don't need to see season 10 or 11.
I'll probably still see it because I have it,
Oh.
but it's probably going to be rough. It's probably going to be tough sledding.
Exactly. Yeah, Ben Shapiro's full of shit.
Yeah, Ben
I did see
Shapiro
bits of that. He's full of shit. I mean, that's
He's a
what
politician. Stick to fucking politics, Ben. Leave the reviews to us.
Hey, Benny, screw you.
You.
This is more for you because I don't know much about this show. The Robocop.
No, I'm not gonna get the Blu-ray because the show was not shot for widescreen, and for some reason the studio that's doing the Blu-ray just cropped everything to fit, which is just bullshit. And it really sucks that studios still do that nowadays. I might get the DVD though, because I heard that it's actually cropped properly. But at the same time, I already have it on DVD, and it's not really a show that it's probably gonna look amazing with a remaster. So I'm gonna wait for some reviews to see if like the picture quality is like any different than what's already out there. Because if the difference is very marginal, like I'll just keep the DVD set that I already have. Because like, what is really the point of that? I don't think there's going to be a ton of features, and it's a show that I don't mind, but it's not a show that I love.
What company is releasing it?
It's some company I've never heard of. I'm not used to them in their current series of films that they're releasing. So that's another thing. Like the company Liberation Media, I think is what it's called, and I'm not really familiar with that company. So that's another sort of thing.
Well, they can liberate my balls into their mouth.
Then judging by the whole thing where they fucked up and didn't, give it the proper aspect ratio, I mean, that's not a good first impression.
Well, I guess they need to be liberated from the company. I just want to give a good drink to this comment. I agree.
Yeah, me too. I didn't care for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
He stick that movie up his ass, all 3 hours of it. I was like, people go, "Oh, this movie's boring." I'm like, no, I was more bored with that film.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Batman in the theater, and that was after like a 7-hour shift in like multiple days in a row of doing back-to-back shifts.
And then this movie felt 7 hours.
That one felt like a long sludge. I don't even think I even watched it in one sitting. I think even I was like, I'm not watching this all at once. Fuck this. Let's pause it. Let's go do something.
Well, you watched it with me, didn't you?
Yeah, I did that. Oh yeah, I think I tried to do it by myself.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like,
then you talked to me. It's like,
yeah, that was like, hey man, can you help me? Because this is too much.
But the Batman,
can't do this by myself.
very worth it.
Yeah, I'd recommend seeing it in the theater too if you have the money and you have the opportunity, because it's quite the spectacle.
Hey, Heavy Metal, very nice guy here, good artist as well. Cinema Fan has a question for you. What do you think of Paul Thomas
Oh,
Anderson?
oh God,
He
what
directed
did he do?
films like Punch Drunk Love, I believe. I think he did Magnolia.
Yeah, he's more of
Uh,
a dramatic guy. I'm not super big into dramas, so
Punch Drunk
I
Love is good though.
yeah, I
Yeah.
remember seeing that, and I do remember that being pretty good. So seems like he's a pretty solid filmmaker when it
I
comes
think he
to.
did Boogie Nights, I believe. I think he did Boogie Nights.
Yeah, he
Have you
seems
seen
to be
that one?
pretty. No, I haven't seen that one either. I've heard about it. Dirk Diggler and Burt Reynolds in his cameo, but I haven't
Well, it's
actually seen that one
more their
yet.
cameo. It's a supporting role. I think
Oh,
it's
okay,
not
maybe I was thinking about Burt Reynolds in another movie.
striptease.
Yeah, he was in Striptease.
But yeah, it's worth a look. I agree. I don't know what Paris Hilton did, but I agree with that.
I mean, Paris Hilton. I mean, if you got an issue with her, just go watch House of Wax. Go watch the House of Wax remake. There's some cathartic stuff in that movie. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if he got his own after Batman v Superman, but blame DC. Blame Warner Bros. I should say. And
I think, yeah, it might have been nice, but I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with things the way that they turned out because that's what gave us Matt Reeves as the Batman. We probably wouldn't have it the way that it's structured if
yeah, that's true.
Ben Affleck did his solo film, because it probably would have connected and tied in with Birds of Prey or whatever they were doing with that.
Yeah. Yeah, the more I think about it, yeah, I guess I was thinking like if both could stay, then yeah,
Hmm.
I'd be interested in seeing Ben Affleck. But if I had to pick, yeah, I prefer what we got
Plus, if I want to
because
see Ben Affleck in a solo superhero film, I'll just watch Daredevil again.
yeah, which no one likes but us. I the accountant too with Ben Affleck. I remember not minding the first accountant.
I
I
thought the
don't think.
first film was just okay and
Yeah,
disappointing for me.
I mean, I thought I didn't mind it, but I don't need a sequel
No, yeah,
like with
nah.
Ben Affleck films. I'm
It was
like,
like Equalizer 2. Like we didn't need an Equalizer 2 either.
very nice guy, Mike.
Yay!
There. Hope you're doing well.
I know he's been trying to catch one for so long. So yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it again. Maybe if I watch it again, I might have a different opinion on it. But I had some fun with it. Big, dumb, loud, monster bashing fun,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to
See,
say that it's an amazing film. I'm not going to sit here and defend the film till the cows come home. Like, I totally understand why people didn't like it or are
but
not
you
fans
can
of
if you
it.
want. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I mean,
We can
but
disagree on stuff and
I
still
know
be friends.
exactly
Go
because
figure.
for instance, Matt didn't mind Paul Dano's performance as the Riddler and the Batman, and I wasn't really that big on it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
mind it. I actually like it more. People don't get pissed. I like it more than Jim Carrey because I like Jim Carrey, but he annoyed me in Batman
yeah.
Forever.
I mean,
More
I
than Batman.
agree. I mean, I think it's a similar sort of over the top sort of thing, but
Mm.
with Jim Carrey, like it was a little bit more in your face, a little bit more crazy. And the thing with Jim, I think his best stuff as the Riddler was when he was more restrained. And I really would have liked to have seen more of that in Batman Forever than him doing his
Yeah.
Ace Ventura, whatever Jim Carrey kind of shtick. Because there were some times in that film where he was downright chilling to me, and even more chilling than Paul Dano. Like the whole bit where he's uh, coming up with ideas of who he wants to be, just alone in his apartment, or the whole sequence when he's talking about how things raise too many questions, and he's just upset at Bruce Wayne, his idol, for turning his back on him. That whole bit where he's like, I don't think so. That whole sort of thing. So I
Okay.
think he was at his best when he was restrained and reining it in. Speaking of over the top actors, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Nicolas Cage movie, the Meta Cage film. The unbearable weight of massive talent.
It looks interesting. I would definitely give it a
Yeah.
look. But I'm intrigued by Nick Cage's choices. Even if they're not the best, they're still interesting.
Yeah.
Like I saw that Prisoners of Ghostland. It wasn't great. It was like a maybe 2.5 or out of 5. But it was at
Yeah.
least interesting compared to Stallone, Bruce Willis, the stuff they're doing nowadays. At least Nick Cage is taking chances.
Yeah, Nick Cage is a risk taker. Like he's a very eccentric guy, so it makes sense that he's doing all these eccentric films. I mean, he did that a lot for his career. Michael Keaton's really small. Yeah, he is, but it's all about the way that he was shot, the way that the character was written. He was a man of few words, but they held weight. And the way that he was shot by Burton and the cinematographer in Batman and Batman Returns, like he still had a legitimate presence to him. Like you really did feel the intimidation factor, at least for me. And when that whole opening scene in Batman where the guy's like, "What are you?" It's like, "I'm Batman." Like you really did buy it, and it's partly because Keaton bought into it and wasn't trying too hard. It wasn't trying to be intimidating. Wasn't trying to be Batman like some of these other actors who
And
played the role.
and Robert Pattinson with his voice wasn't annoying like Christian Bale. He wasn't ridiculous.
He mastered, he mastered the act of silent acting, that Keaton was so good at when he played Batman. Just a little look here, or just a little subtle little facial movement, or you could really get what was going on in Pattinson's head in the scenes, even when he had no dialogue. And that's something that I think a lot of other Batman actors just could not do, just were unable to do.
Yeah, I think Val Kilmer got close.
Yeah.
Clooney, no.
No.
Christian Bale.
Clooney acted like a guy who just walked on the set and they gave him a Batman suit.
For the set, yeah, ER, ER, Doctor by day, Batman by night. Christian Bale, Bruce Wayne was fine, but Batman was just ridiculous horseshit. Was the trigger?
It got really bad in the sequels. Like there were moments in Begins where it was tolerable for me, but after that point, like it was, and that's Nolan's fault. That was all something that Nolan decided to throw in there.
The trigger. Fuck that.
Like a death metal singer.
Hey Richard, hope you're doing well. Yes, rest in peace, Scott Hall.
Rest in peace to Scott Hall. That
Razor Ramon himself. Yeah, it's very too bad. It was pretty damn good. It was pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
There were flaws in pacing, and but I didn't think it was going to be perfect. But I'm like, you know what? I actually rather liked it. It was nice to see. It's like if Seven had a hopeful ending.
It's a very film noir kind of film. It's very mystery orientated. The action when it was there, similar to the Burton films, it had a genuine impact to it. Like it was exciting, especially the car chase of the Penguin. I loved that. I thought that was a really well shot sequence.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, it's like Blade Runner 2049. A lot of people find that boring, but I really enjoyed it. And when the action is there, it's good. But it's all about the character and the story and the mood, like the world.
Yeah.
I like the Gotham world. It's like, it's real like Nolan, but still has a bit of fantasy like Burton.
Yes.
And that was nice. It was always raining. It had a rich atmosphere. And the music, I'm glad they actually put Nirvana's song in it.
Yeah, that's one thing I forgot to mention in my review, and I wish I did in hindsight, but
twice, right? At the beginning, at the end.
Yes, it's a really great song choice. It fits Batman really well, especially this version of Batman. And it was just a really inspired song choice to use. It really fit very well.
And it's rare that when they use for a trailer, it's actually in the movie, but I'm glad.
I know. I was like, it's actually in the film. Cool, because there's a lot of times where we see these trailers like, oh, that's a cool song used in the trailer. I hope that's in the movie, and then it's not in the film. Like for instance, Johnny Cash is Hurt. Like that was used really
Oh,
well in Logan,
Logan.
and then it was never in the movie.
Right. But this, I mean, in the score itself, there's tones of that, but it felt like
Yes,
a horror film score.
yes. I
I
like
like,
the main theme.
yeah,
I know some people, oh, it sounds just like Imperial March, the Vader theme. And I'm like, there are elements, but it's not a direct copy. I think that's a stretch.
that never once brought in my head. Never. I even like I don't know what the track is, but the soft,
Yeah.
uh, emotional part as well.
There's
Like
a
a
lot of
soft,
great emotion in that score. And there were some moments where you could tell that Michael Giacchino was inspired by other composers,
mhm.
in particular Danny Elfman, because you could hear like the bells in some parts, and sort of the strings that he was using for the Catwoman theme evoke sort of a similar feeling to what he did with the Catwoman theme in Batman Returns. So you could tell that he was a fan, and there was like little notes here and there while still making it his own, and it was a really nice score.
Yeah, and to get to this guy, yes, I did like the movie. People forget I liked Joker quite a bit. I liked 1917. I liked Uncut Gems. That's a good Adam Sandler film. Searching with John Cho. The new Suicide Squad was fun. And this is like a good spiritual conjoined twin of Joker,
Yeah.
where it has that same feel, but it's its own movie and has more action than
And
Joker.
speaking of Joker, that's one thing about the Batman. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do with Joker. Like that whole thing at the end with the Joker and Arkham. Like, I don't really know if that needed to be there, and the kind of direction they're taking with the Joker. Like, if they're gonna cast that guy and keep him, I don't know about that. But
We'll
I'm
see what
hoping they can incorporate somehow, some way, Joaquin Phoenix, because having Joaquin Phoenix as Joker pitted against Robert Pattinson's Batman, that would be pretty special. But in all honesty, with the second film, I don't want to see the Joker. I don't want to see the same villains. I would love to see Mr. Freeze, but done the right way. Like in Heart of Ice from Batman animated series. Because I think that could be a really great story to bring to Matt Reeves's take on the Batman, or someone like Dr. Hugo Strange, or possibly the Court of Owls, which seems like there might be some sort of stuff that's hinting at that. So I don't want to see the same villains again. Bring me something different. If you gave us the Riddler, a different interpretation of the Riddler, I hope that continues for the next films. I mean, if you want to have the Joker, fine, but not in the second movie. Like,
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what happens. I
I think they'll
mean,
definitely expand the Penguin's role. That's for sure. And Colin Farrell was a total chameleon. Like, I
yeah.
did not recognize him at all.
As for the comment, I don't know why they didn't like the film, but yeah, I did like it. There's some issues with
It's
pacing,
not
but
for everyone. It's
uh,
like it's similar to to Batman Returns in some ways, because it's very different. It's a very different take on Batman than what some people are used to. So you're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna be divisive on it, and
mhm.
so on. And I
But I
get
like,
it.
yeah, I can understand, but like I said, I've said before, I wanted to
Yeah.
see a detective type of
Yes.
Batman, and I was getting that, and that was it was refreshing.
How do you feel about the whole thing where Batman isn't the one? Because this goes into spoilers, folks. So you've been warned. How do you
Okay.
feel about the Batman not catching the Riddler? Like, how does that work out for you?
Well, I thought it worked in what it was trying to tell, where it was, I mean, he was still following the clues, he was still being a
Mhm.
detective. It still, I mean, led to a bad guy dying because of it, which
Mhm.
I'm fine with. But it also, It leaves room because it's year two.
Hmm.
In the future, in your mind for the story. I mean, in Batman comics, how many times do they get out and they escape, and there's
Yeah.
always room to get them again.
Hmm.
But I thought it was fine. Like Seven, they don't capture the guy in Seven
Yeah.
that gives himself up, and people are fine with that, and I was fine
Yeah.
with it because it
Yeah.
was the journey. But also, what I like is that he does find out what's going on, and that goes into saving the mayor and stopping
Hmm.
the assassins, and another good
Yeah.
action scene
Yeah.
up top. And he does accomplish something. He stops the assassins. He doesn't let the mayor, the better mayor, get
Exactly.
killed,
Yeah.
and then starts saving people in the flood. And they would have been
Yeah.
electrocuted if he wasn't there in time. And
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
does actually accomplish something. And
Yeah. I feel the same way. What about the third act? Because I've heard a lot of people, oh, they could just cut that out. It could just end with Falcone and what happens with that, and then the Riddler gives himself up, and then the movie's over.
that would defeat the purpose of the arc,
Yeah.
which is him becoming a hero instead of
Hmm.
just a vigilante. That's the most important part of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point of the story if there's no arc of Batman? It's vigilante doesn't work just with vengeance.
Yeah.
It-
That's why you have one of Riddler's disciples when he's unmasked. He says, "I am vengeance."
yeah,
Like that's the
that's
moment where he realizes,
that's
oh,
that's why Batman isn't the
yeah.
Punisher. He's a different
Hmm.
guy, and you need to see him become a hero, and that's what he does at the end. Is he can still kick ass, and he does, but it's saving people that matters. Which is what I complain about in Zack Snyder's movies. And it's like this is what it is. It's like that's the right
Yeah.
way of
And I've
doing it.
seen, speaking of
Saving
Zack
people.
Snyder and like Superman, because I've seen a lot of people, well, that's Superman's thing. That's not Batman's thing about being a symbol of hope. And I'm like, no, that's also Batman's thing. He's a symbol of hope for Gotham. Like he's not
It's,
just vengeance.
it's in the song Gotham City, a city
Yeah.
of justice, city of hope.
Yeah.
It's Gotham City.
That's his father's legacy. It's about providing hope to Gotham. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't I
it's all
don't
good
I
stuff.
don't I don't think that's a problem at all. Um, I
Yeah.
also got some vibes from the new Batman that reminded me of the animated series, which I thought was really cool too, because I could kind of see that Matt Reeves and some of the writers were also fans of that.
See, I never understood comments like this because I like Blade Runner 2049. I like Searching with John Cho. I like The Disaster Artist. I like Uncut Gems. I liked
Hmm.
1917. I like the new Suicide Squad. I liked Malignant. I liked Nobody. I like the John Wick films.
Yeah.
I like films that I think are good. I'm not gonna like every movie that I think is shit.
Yeah,
I
and on
like
the flip side, I don't understand when people like, oh, you just copy Matt, you just like what he likes or don't like what he likes. It's like Matt wasn't a big fan of Last Night in Soho, and I love that film.
right.
So that's not that is proof
Exactly.
in itself. I mean,
That's a
when
harsh tone.
the Shape of Water came out, that was like one of my favorite films of the year. So like
And I thought it was
it's
okay. I didn't
yeah,
hate it. I thought it was okay.
exactly. But I was an even bigger fan of it. So we don't always copy each other, but we do have
Exactly.
moments where we have parallels because we just have similar tastes. That's just how it is.
Exactly. Thank you, Michael. Exactly. All those films, Consco Island, Captain America films, Sonic. I like those.
I really
So, and I
like
like,
Joker too.
yeah, Joker was good. I really enjoyed Joker. Yeah, I will buy it. I would like to see
I
them
will be
do a.
buying the 4K for sure, especially with my new Panasonic 4K player, which I'm already in love with. Well worth the money. Like I've just been absolutely gobsmacked by this thing. Like it just I rewatched like almost the entirety of Batman Returns again after seeing it like very recently because the picture quality on that thing is just boosts everything to a whole other level. Like in the party scene with Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Keaton, where she's got on that sparkling like dress. Like I was able to see like every sequin, every bit of the light shining off of it. It was and just every scene, like that film's such a visual masterwork in so many ways, and it was just seeing that in that detail. It was as close as I could get to actually being there, and it was just so immersive. And that's something that I miss building real sets. Batman Returns represents the end of an era. Like, it was one of the last big films that spent all that money and had all those people and built real sets. It took over like half the studio lot at the time, and it shows. Like, you see that film now and you're like, wow, like that's so much more immersive than even the best CGI that they can put on the screen. It's just, you just can't replace it.
Exactly. Hey, Caleb, hope you're doing well.
Hey,
Let's see. Yes,
I haven't seen
immensely.
that yet, and I probably will agree if I ever do see No Way Home
Fuck
anytime
No Way
soon.
Home. Batman was way better.
You're
So
just a DC fanboy.
what I
or
mean
or
by what I mean by that is I had a guy tell me that Batman is not a detective movie.
yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
He literally said there's no Batman in it and it's not a detective movie.
Yeah. Or
That's what
people
I
that
mean.
say, like, what I was talking about is people who say that it's bad because insert politics or identity politics or insert woke buzzword here or insert whatever, and there just really isn't a lot there with the actual film to say that it's all about wokeness and identity politics, and that's just a big stretch to me. Like, I've seen people say things like, oh, it's all this whole like white people are bad. I'm like, Batman's the hero, he's a white man. This whole thing about white privilege, it's like Batman is the epitome of white privilege. He's a rich white billionaire who was given his money from his rich white parents when they died. And he's the hero, and he's the one that represents hope for the city. And then on top of that, there's all these other things. And people just ignore stuff. They pull stuff out of their ass. Like, to say that, oh, all the white people are bad. Well, not Batman. Or in the beginning of the film, when you had the thugs, one of them was Hispanic who had a machete. And then later on, when Falcone gets arrested, there are a bunch of white cops. So, like, what is this bullshit? That's what I'm saying when people are pulling stuff out of their ass.
Like, if people don't like the film, that's fine. But
Yeah,
if they say this movie is a bad woke movie because Catwoman's black, I'm like, do you not remember Eartha Kitt?
yeah,
She wasn't, she was something called Black in Adam West's Batman. She was Catwoman. Or Halle Berry. Well, that's a bad movie, but it's not because of Halle Berry and Catwoman. But that's what we mean by that.
yeah. Like, like I said, you could say you don't like the film because the story doesn't interest you, or the characters don't speak to you, or whatever. You could even say, oh, I would have liked to have seen more action, even though it's not an action film. Even that I could look at and be like, okay, that's fine. But it's just some of the criticism people are throwing out there is just ridiculous to me, and it is honestly kind of pulling something out of your ass.
Thank you, Batov, for the kind words, and I agree. Uh, Congrats on the movie. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it as well. Hey, QJC, hope you're doing well. Hey, Nick B, thank you for the kind words. Let's see. I don't agree with
We're
that. I'll teach
I
their own.
mean, we're doing okay. I mean, we mentioned that at the start of the stream. Like, we're just taking things day by day. I mean, that's just how things are, just day
Yeah,
by day.
that is, yeah, that's
I
one part
actually
of my.
like that. I've learned. Like, at first, I kind of had problems with that, but I've
That's
learned to
still
just. It's so unique. It's so
that's still
different. I understand why people don't like it. I understand why you don't
one.
like it. It's silly, but in this Burton weird wonderland of just nutty craziness, like, it didn't seem that out of place to me.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I would say it's in the vein of Blade Runner 2049. There's bits here and there that could be trimmed, little bits here and there. But overall, I still. Zack Snyder's Justice League was more poorly paced than this.
Yeah,
Both cuts. So I'll put it that
hands
way.
down. Or Dark Knight Rises. That's
That's
pretty.
That's an interesting question. Favorite retired actor?
I'm gonna say Gene Hackman. We finished each other's sentences.
Yeah, Gene Hackman.
There you go.
Because I'm looking at the Uncommon Valor Blu-ray, and from like Narrow Margin,
Mississippi Burning, Bat 21, even stuff like The Replacements. His bit role, his bit part in The Birdcage. You know, just a very versatile, amazing actor. The kind of actor you don't see much of nowadays because he just doesn't fit a certain box.
But yeah,
I think Michael Biehn also retired recently, and I remember reading something like that, and I would,
really,
he's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, but I mean, Gene Hackman he is a great actor. I get why he retired, just relax, enjoy life. But he's a great actor. I do miss watching him in movies. Favorite metal bands?
Scorpions,
AC/DC.
Dokken.
Well, that's rock. I guess that's more rock. That's less metal. Metallica, I enjoy.
Yeah, Metallica.
I like Alice in Chains. I like.
Yeah, they're good. I really like this progressive. I think it's called progressive metal. I really like this band called Stratovarius. I think they make some really cool, really awesome songs. At least early in their discography. Like their more recent albums aren't quite as good because I think they changed like the lead singer or something, and things are just a little off.
Also, White Zombie, when Rob Zombie was worth a try.
Yeah.
Like his music, I like better than his movies.
Speaking of his movies, he's doing The Munsters, and it is rated PG.
Yeah.
I'm curious about it just for that, just to see how he's going to work in that world, because he's never done anything like that in his entire career.
That's why I think he'll fail, but I'll wait for your review because I'm Rob Zombie.
I'm not gonna see it in the theater or anything. I'll check it out because I'm just curious to see, like, is he gonna pull it off, or is he just gonna fail spectacularly? Because it's just so out of his comfort zone.
My guess is the second one. Loading or Watchmen?
Ooh, that's tough, Johnny. It's tough for me. I really, really like Watchmen. It's one of my favorite comic book films. Logan, I also really enjoy. That's rough.
I liked both as well.
I guess. Oh man, I'm gonna go with Watchmen with a slight edge because there are some aspects of Logan, like in particular the bad guy, that just really were kind of lame, and I think could have definitely been improved upon. And there's a few other things, but Watchmen for me, like I just think it's like one of the best comic book films out there, like in my top 10 or top 5. So Logan wouldn't quite make it, but Logan is definitely one of the best X-Men films, easily, hands down.
I will probably go with Logan only because it was just nice to see Wolverine done in that fashion. Although I do have issues with the film, but I think Hugh Jackman, for his last performances, Wolverine, he knocked out of the park in that one.
Oh, he did 100%. I mean, it's a great film in its own right. It's just a close race, and one just edges out the other for me.
Where are you from? Was born in Iowa, and but now I'm in the Texas area.
I was actually born in Honolulu, Hawaii, for anyone that wants to know, of all places. My mom and my dad met when they were in the Navy. They divorced when I was super young, so I don't really have any memories of living there. I would love to go there with my mom, just try to, at least see some of the places that apparently I was at one point in my life. And then for the rest of my life, I lived mostly in the Pacific Northwest. I lived in Tigard, Portland area. Went to Lake Oswego High School. And for recently, I've just been living in Vancouver, Washington, which is so close to Portland. It might as well be a suburb of Portland. And for a couple years, I lived in Oklahoma City with my dad, and there were some fun times, and there were some not so fun times. Just leave it at that.
I haven't heard of this. I don't really care to see.
I don't think he's going to. It's like the same sort of thing people have been saying about Andrew Garfield doing a solo Spider-Man film. I don't think any of those are going to happen.
I need a drink for that. I agree with that as well. Fuck Dark Knight pisses. And yeah, fuck politics as well.
Yeah, sure.
Well, he has seen the Joker.
Yeah, I have seen the Joker. I got a review of it. You can just go to my channel, type in Joker. You should be able to find it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. It's cool to see you join this stream. Favorite scene? I'm going to go with the scene at Excess Chemicals with the Batmobile. When the Batmobile is rolling through and then firing all the guns and then drops the bomb and then explodes and then the Batmobile rolls away. I think a big part of it is because of the score and just how cool the Batmobile is. A close second would be the finale, like the last few shots of the film. Like that I think about that actually might be the scene, or maybe it's just the music. It's the music at the end that just always gives me chills. The work by Danny Elfman. There's a lot of other great stuff in that film.
Yeah, it's hard to say what my favorite is because I like a lot of scenes. I mean, the last bit with the music and the finale,
Yes.
Danny Elfman, that's a great moment. It definitely gives you goosebumps. The Michael Keaton scene on Batman the first time, that's definitely an iconic moment.
The first time we see the Joker, when he guns down Grissom.
Yeah, Jack Palance's character. So yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite, but
one scene I also really like is a very subtle but very well put together scene when Batman, he rescues Vicky. He's got her in the Batmobile, and then he's heading down that road with all the leaves and everything, and it's him like taking her to the Batcave. I just love the way that whole scene is set up, and it's a good sequence. Great score in that moment.
Yeah. And I will answer this real quick, so don't worry about it. I will answer this one. Yes, I have. Tell your mom I said hi.
No comment.
Yes, I agree with that. I will drink to that as well. Fuck No Way Home. The dumbest fucking Peter Parker I ever seen in my fucking life. Let's invite 5 villains into my home. It's like, hey, you have 5 convicts? Invite them to your home. Oh, Aunt May said it was okay. Well, he's 24 years old. I think he could be like, Aunt May, go camping or something, and don't invite 5 fucking villains to know where I live.
That'd be like if somebody was willing, like, hey, I've got Jeffrey Dahmer and John Wayne Gacy, and I've got all these serial killers. They're just gonna hang out at my place.
Peter Parker is the type of guy that would get killed by Jeffrey fucking Dahmer. That's how dumb he is. Jeffrey Dahmer would eat him. I wonder if he ate him what he did the Spider-Man powers. Jeffrey Dahmer, Spider-Man.
Oh no, that reminds me of that script they didn't use for a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel. Remember where that? Yeah, that I think it was like one of the Freddy versus Jason films or something, where like you had the serial killers that were in hell or something that got brought to life.
Yes, rest in peace, William Hurt. Good actor.
Yeah,
enjoyed him. I would say Altered States was a good one.
Yeah, Altered States is even more impressive considering it's his first ever acting role for a movie. Like you really can't even believe that's the case because the performance is that good, and it's such a performance is very difficult. There's a lot of stuff he had to do with dealing with effects and dealing with makeup and dealing with a lot of extreme, crazy emotions and a lot of very heavy dialogue, and he pulled it off brilliantly.
Michael, thank you for the kind words. Hey, it
Yeah.
happens. It is
Some
goes by
peace.
doing. But yeah, thank you for the kind words as well as everyone else. Alistair, prove it. Send in a super chat. A really, really good one too. So, because I don't believe it, prove it. Prove it. Send in a really, really big super chat, and then you'll get my. Then I will start believing you. I will start believing you. Very good guy on here. Hope you're doing well.
Hey,
Favorite episode of The Simpsons. God, that's it'd be. You know what? It's Trials of Horror, The Shining.
I
No,
haven't seen as many episodes of The Simpsons as Matt has, but I would have to say it's probably one of the Treehouse of Horror episodes because I'm just such a sucker for horror anthologies. So
no TV and no food make Homer go crazy. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, that The Shining. I think I fucked up that line, but that's a really good one. The Trials of Horror episodes. Uh, I don't give a rat's ass about more,
yeah,
honestly.
I like the first teaser trailer, but then the more trailers I see, it just looks pretty generic and bland. Like if it was rated R, then you might have me because that would give it an extra bite. But PG-13, like how much are you really going to be able to get away with? And I don't.
I didn't follow the character. I don't know much about it, and it's like a meh vampire movie. That's just
It's
me
like if I
though.
want a movie about a vigilante vampire, just watch Blade with Wesley Snipes again. That's what it seems like.
Hey Bobby, good guy here.
Hey,
Hope you're doing well. That's one I saw. Well, I didn't know.
I downloaded it and I flipped through it. And I was like, this looks like it wouldn't be for me. Like from what I just flipped through,
Well,
like it just
you did what the title refers to, right?
yeah, it's the is it like you know period and whatever puberty or
She's turned
turning
to
red.
a red panda, but it's
Yeah,
also
and
red as in that time of the month.
yeah, I know, yeah.
And she's like 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great.
Like, dear
Worst,
God, it's me, Margaret, the Pixar movie.
I would I would say worst one is still Cars 2, because that stars Larry the Cable Guy. But Turning Red is definitely the one of the lesser ones in my opinion.
So you could see why it was dumped to Disney Plus then, because it was originally going to be theatrically released, and then they
Everyone
put it
else
on Disney.
loved it, so but I'm good. I'm glad it was dumped. They could dump a big fucking fat shit on it.
I don't know if Pixar didn't do a Mars Needs Moms, right? That was just a separate
No.
Disney thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't do that one. Have you seen Sonic X TV show?
No, I haven't seen it. I remember watching The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, where he was into chili dogs, and it was some really dumb show that like I tried to rewatch as an adult. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. Why did I ever watch this? This is so hard to watch. And I do remember catching a few episodes of the more serious one, which I would like to revisit someday, but the DVD is like crazy expensive.
Let's see. I do like the 2003 Chainsaw Massacre. What's better in that than in the original?
The characters, at least for me, I think the characters are written in a way where they're stronger and there's more depth to them.
I could see that. I could see that. I still like the original more for me, but I do think that was one of the better remakes. I mean, it definitely has a bit more gore if people are looking for that compared to the original. Yeah, the characters, there's a little bit more fleshed out. I mean, there's not a lot of background or stuff, but I guess
No.
there's a bit more personality, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the last good Chainsaw Massacre film probably was that. Have you seen Sonic? This is for you.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to. I definitely should. I do have it on Blu-ray. I just haven't gotten around to watching it just yet.
I agree. Stream 5 sucked.
Oh, I think Texas 3D was disrespectful in some ways. I mean, especially with the opening of the film. And
oh yeah, where we gotta feel sorry for this family because a bunch of vigilantes killed them. I'm like,
Yeah.
they murdered
Yeah.
people and ate them and wore their
Mhm.
skin on their faces. Why are the vigilantes the bad guys in this movie, in this world, in this instance? Do you think? Cause it's cool if you like the
You
film. I
mean the
thought
vigilantes are the good the vigilantes, yeah, why are they the bad guys? Exactly, yeah.
in that movie
Yeah.
they're labeled as the bad guys because Leatherface becomes like an anti-hero where the girl throws him the chainsaw. Do you think? Cause
Yeah, yeah.
have you seen Texas Chainsaw 3D?
I did a long time ago. It
Did
was
you
awful.
review it?
I think I did a long time ago. It was just one of those things I had to delete because of copyright
Oh,
and other bullshit. But yeah.
we got some Daredevil love by one, two people. Very
Cool.
cool. Always enjoyed
Nice.
it. Saw in the
I saw it in the
theater.
theater as well. Saw it with my
Liked it.
dad.
I do like the director's cut more. Other than the
Yeah.
CGI being very spotty, which a lot of movies at that time were. Look at the first Spider-Man. That CGI is dotty as hell too. I mean, shoddy as hell, and
Quite the contrast when it comes to villain performances for Colin Farrell
yeah, yeah. Speaking
when
of
you
which,
compare this to the Batman.
but I always liked it. I know the star of the TV show Daredevil said the movie sucked. I'm like, well, whatever. I didn't see your TV show. Don't care. So, oh well. Teach their own. I have not seen House on the Edge of the Park.
I've seen clips, I've seen a trailer, but I haven't seen it yet either. I do have it on DVD.
I have no idea who the hell that is.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either.
Cole,
Sorry.
very nice guy. Thank you
Thank
for the
you.
kind words. Uh, yeah, it sounds cool. I mean, you could do that as a separate movie on its own, like, but I like the movie that we got. By being a Arkham Asylum movie, yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, that could have been really cool.
Or do it
If it was
animated and
done
have Ben
right.
Affleck voice it. You know, you do an animated film, have Ben Affleck voice the character. That's just my opinion.
Speaking of DC, did you hear about they pushed back the Flash and they pushed back
They read your
some of the
mind,
other
Mike. Look at the comment. They read your mind.
Cool.
He really wants to do
Thank
him.
you, Hunter.
Matt Reeves said he wants to do him in a sequel. Mr. Freeze.
We'll see. We'll see. I think Freeze is a great choice. A very phenomenal emotional arc. I think Two-Face, if they do it right too, could be a nice one to revisit. Because I don't think they really tapped into the full potential with The Dark Knight.
Sorry that I interrupted you. It just I had to mention that because first off, very nice words. Thank you for the kind words, Hunter. But also, Mike mentioned that's who he wanted in the sequel, and then funny enough, apparently Matt Reeves says he wants to do that sequel. So that'd be interesting to see. I would like to see that. But what were you saying?
I was just I was saying that the Flash
movie?
was pushed to next year, and so was Aquaman, the Aquaman sequel, and the Shazam spinoff, Black Adam, was pushed up to this year.
Yeah, my ass bleeds for them. Ray Wise is a decent actor, most
He's
unappreciated.
absolutely an underrated actor.
I would say Brad Dourif for me is the most unappreciated actor.
Brad's up there. I think Peter Weller deserves more because he just gets a lot of RoboCop and that's it. And he's just such a more versatile actor than just a guy from RoboCop. Ray Wise is a good pick for an underrated actor. I just saw him in The Journey of Natty Gone. He was really good in that, and that showed his range that he could play a loving father who has his flaws but really means well, and it was a nice thing to see because I would only seen him as bad guys, in RoboCop or in other films, and to see him play a role like that, it just showed his talent. That he was really a very talented actor who could play a whole slew of different kind of roles.
I saw Chainsaw Massacre 3 in the theater, 2003 one in a theater. I did enjoy it. I like its atmosphere. I like the look. I liked, rest in peace, R. Lee Ermey. Crazy as the sheriff. The beginning sucked. Has one of the dumbest. Well, I can't say that now with what's been said. I would like.
It's like the writers saw Monster Dog and were like, oh yeah, let's copy that with the werewolf in the back seat that's like 50 feet long. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, let's have a 7 foot Leatherface with a 8 foot chainsaw be a ninja and sneak the chainsaw into the back seat and
I will say this, yeah, it's dumb and it has some bad moments. Arlie Ermy is good in it, and it does have some good gore. But yeah, it does have a lot of issues.
it's completely pointless too.
Yeah, it is.
Pointless movie.
I would say though, I would take the beginning any day of the week over the latest Texas Chainsaw Massacre or the Leatherface prequel. I was a teenage Leatherface, or the fourth film, but that's just me because the fourth movie, other than Matthew McConaughey and a few bits of his performance, like that film was just obnoxious and annoying, and I hated it. I hated watching that movie again. Like the characters in the beginning, like oh my god, some of the worst acting I've ever seen in a slasher movie. Like for fuck's sake, just kill them all now, Leatherface, so I don't have to hear them anymore.
I would say no as of right now because I don't know who Morbius.
I don't know.
What
I'll
this
just
would be
stick with the
like.
animated series arc with Morbius and Spider-Man if I want to get a little bit of that.
Yeah. Hi there. Hope you're doing well, Carl. Let's see. It could. I would not be
Yeah,
surprised.
I would not be surprised if it sucked either.
I don't mind Jared Leto. It's just I think the nothing about the movie really sticks out as I need to see this or
Speaking of
whatever.
movies, what are your thoughts on Bullet Train, Matt? You see the trailer for that?
No, I've seen people talk about it. I haven't seen the
Okay.
trailer though. But I guess not a lot of people liked it or something.
I'm
Right?
kind of on the fence about it. I mean, I like the idea, but it just seems like the tone is a little off.
Mm. All right.
I guess continuing to talk about Batman. I mean, Keanu Reeves is voicing Batman in the League of Super Pets.
Mm.
I'm not really
Fuck that.
looking forward to that movie. It just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, plus that's The Rock and The Rock can eat it. But
He could take a rock bottom.
yeah. I disagree. I thought he was well lit in this movie as well. I thought since Michael Keaton's Batman, I thought the way he was lit in this was fantastic in the new Batman.
Yeah, it's a different kind of lighting. It's more of a murkier kind of approach, but I think Reeves still did a great job.
Yeah, I mean it's different, but that's fine because I don't want to be the exact same. Otherwise,
Yeah, I didn't want to just copy Burton's style.
But it definitely has a
make
nice mood and atmosphere, and it's
I
not.
love the use of red lighting too. They did a really good job with that.
Yeah, they want to hear your thoughts on Don Fettuccine
on Don Mancini. Okay, all right.
Mancini.
I think he seriously overvalues his contributions to the Child's Play franchise. He's similar to George Lucas in that way, where he's taking credit for everything and then annoys the hell out of me. Tom Holland deserves way more credit than he's getting from Don for the franchise as a whole. Yeah, Don worked on a lot of the sequels and a lot of the other stuff. But if you think about it, it's the first film was the one that started everything. Like you wouldn't have the launching off point for these sequels of the Chucky TV show if it wasn't for Tom Holland, because the original script that Don had was not as good, had a lot of issues, was very different than what the ultimate film was, the finished movie was. And Tom came in and he's the one that did a lot of the rewrites and did a lot of the stuff that made it into the film that people love today. Don didn't have an instance where he had no input. I'm not saying that, but it's a similar sort of thing with George Lucas. Well, my movies and it's like, dude, like, come on, give the other people who contributed the franchise more credit.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I was going to think of something else, but that pretty much sums my thoughts on it too. I can't really disagree with that,
And plus, a
honestly.
lot of the stuff that Don did, like later on, to me was just literally pissing on the franchise, like not really improving it or making it better. Just turned it into a massive joke where Tom Holland took things somewhat seriously. He knew not to take it too seriously because it's not a subject that it's not a plot that you could really get away with doing that. But he knew that a little bit of seriousness goes a long way. And then after that, I mean, it just turned into a franchise where we're just you know focusing on Chucky doing the most wild, ridiculous things and having other dolls, and it just really jumped the shark in a huge way after Bride of Chucky. Like it really started to do it in that direction at that point.
Bobby's asked, I really didn't like. I wasn't really big into either, so I have no dog in this fight.
I like
Um,
the 2021 film better from what I remember from the original.
yeah, exactly. Well, no one's probably steered at everything in those Batman movies because they suck ass, in my
So
opinion.
who to stop? Christian Bale's voice.
Yeah, his
That
voice.
was Nolan's idea. Like he's the one that told him to do that.
Blame Nolan. Yeah.
Because
And
he wanted to make it more realistic. Because he's like, oh, it's not. It would make more sense that Batman would have a voice modulator or he would do something to make his voice
and that's
different.
an, and that's another thing. Like with Nolan, I like Inception a lot more than you. So when I think
I
of
still need
Nolan,
to I still need to revisit that one. I think my opinion might change dramatically when I check that one out again.
like if I watch Nolan, it's like I like Inception quite a bit. I prefer Memento, even Insomnia, over his Batman
Yeah,
movie.
I think Insomnia is incredibly underrated. I really like that one.
I haven't seen The Prestige in a long while, so I
Yeah,
can't.
I haven't seen that one yet either. I'm waiting for the 4K to be a little bit cheaper one of these days.
I didn't grow with Adam West Batman, so I can't give a fair opinion on
I
it.
grew up watching reruns of the 60s Batman show with my grandmother on TV Land or Sci-Fi. I like Adam West. I like his take on that version of Batman. It's not my favorite interpretation of the character, but it's a fun show, and Adam West did a good job for the Batman that he was asked to play. There was no reason or a way that I could think of that he would do a more serious take on Batman. That's just not what the show was about, and that's not what Batman comics were at the time either. Batman comics were very much like the show in the 60s.
I agree with this. Yeah, I fuck the Tumblr.
Yeah, 100%. Even though I like some of the Tumblr chases more than Matt does, the design was just a jumbled mess. It was ugly. The Batmobile and the Batman, it's not a finished product yet, and it doesn't hold a candle to the Batmobile in the Burton films because that's just sleek and badass and just super cool. But it's still a nice looking Batmobile nonetheless. It definitely has a lot of power.
Mike hasn't seen Endgame, so
As much as I wasn't a fan of Hulk 2003, from what I've seen in clips, I would rather watch the 2003 film.
I have not seen Savage Dawn. I've heard of it. I haven't
Haven't
seen.
seen that yet. I have it on VHS. Still need to see it. Um,
I did like the Back to the Future ride, and I remember riding that back in the day in the little film they had. That was pretty
yeah,
interesting. Of Christopher Lloyd, and also I think Thomas F. Wilson was
yeah, he
part of
did.
the
He
film.
reprised his role as Biff.
The song in Batman, it's the song in the trailer of Nirvana. I'm bad
There's
with
something in the
titles.
way.
There's something in the way. That's used twice in the movie, which was really cool. Again, um, good fit. Yeah, I agree. It fit really well with it. I gotta be honest. I agree with this.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Fuck Anna Hathaway.
definitely. Even though I wasn't as blown away by Zoe as other people
Right.
were, it's
Yeah,
hands
I
down
agree
no
with that.
contest. I still prefer Michelle Pfeiffer. Like, I
Me
think
too.
she's still the best Catwoman for me.
I agree.
But Zoe did an okay job. I just wasn't as impressed with it as other people were. I was more
Yeah.
impressed by Robert Pattinson.
Which I'm fine because it's the title of the movie. Uh, I think Mike could answer that. I mean, I have some
Troll
bad movies.
2. Um, I have way more than I probably should.
Don't you have
I just bought,
Ghostbusters?
yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife. I have the set of that. I just bought this. It's like $25, so it has a bunch of, it has all the Transformers movies. So there's some bad movies in there.
Yeah, Captain
Uh,
Marvel.
yeah, I have that. I have the Star Wars, a new Star Wars trilogy. I have that in 4K.
Fuck those movies, man. Me,
I mean, there's up here. There's Dark Fate in 4K. I haven't seen it yet, but it's probably a pretty bad film.
it definitely is. Okay, I Sabotage with Arnold. I see right there.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking movie sucked.
Where's RoboCop 3?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Alien
have
3
that.
because it was part of the set.
That was a gift from you, though, if I remember correctly. RoboCop 3, which I still
Yeah,
do appreciate, because at least the features were interesting to check out.
yeah.
It's good for the collection.
Ooh, I like both.
Ooh, I'm gonna give Bogus Journey a slight edge because of the creativity, the imagination. It's a very unique, out there, wild movie, and it had more of a budget behind it, and that definitely did show. Um, I like the little bit of an edge. I still really really like the first film. It's a really fun movie. It's got a lot going for it, but I'll give Bogus Journey a slight edge just for the creativity. I'm just kind of a guy who I really admire creativity and imagination, and I kind of give some films a little bit extra kudos if they manage to bring a lot of that to the screen.
Yeah, I really enjoy both as well. I would probably give the edge to the first one only because I think the first one's a bit funnier for me.
Yeah,
I'd probably say
I
I got
mean,
a
yeah,
bit more chuckles out of it, and it seemed like there's a bit more George Carlin, which was cool as
yeah,
well. And
yeah.
the I like the soundtrack in the second one, but I like the soundtrack more in the first.
Oh, absolutely. I will say, the first film definitely has the best soundtrack. I mean, there's so many
Yeah,
songs on that soundtrack. I really really love.
let's see. I remember now Minding Diner. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I haven't seen that one
Good
yet.
cast.
I know it has a really good cast, and I've heard some good things about it. I haven't got around to seeing that one yet.
I have no idea about those. I don't know if that
I don't
will.
know about that. It sounds like rumors, and I don't know. I just don't want to. If it's just a lot of rumors stuff. I just don't want to think too hard into or too much into, because we've both been burned multiple times by these rumors about, like, oh, this is gonna happen, and then it doesn't. Nothing happens.
There'll be a new the Alien film from the director of District 9.
They're talking about Crow again. Did you read that? They're talking about the Crow remake again. Like, it's in talks. They're gonna start it by. Can we just learn from the past? Just
Every
don't
five
do it.
months. Every 5 months, there's talk of the Crow.
Just don't do the fucking Crow remake. All the signs are there.
It's not needed. I didn't know I don't follow Star Trek anymore. I don't follow any of their new shows. So if they have a new Captain Kirk, whatever, I don't
I
follow
don't
the
give
new
a shit
Star Trek.
about Strange New Worlds. It doesn't matter to me, especially from what I've read about Picard and
Star Trek died a long
Star
time
Trek
ago.
Discovery.
Star Trek died a long time ago. Actual Star Trek.
I mean, Picard just turned me off from what I read about it. I mean, it's bullshit about Picard being berated by other people with Starfleet. Sheer fucking hubris. It's like, shut the fuck up, you bitch. This is Captain Picard talking about. Probably saved your ass a million fucking times. Show some fucking respect.
I don't know anything about the Moon Knight character, so I'm in the dark when it comes to the character.
I'm pretty in the dark on the character too. I know he's a really popular character. There's a ton of memes about Moon Knight, but I don't know. Maybe if I have the time, I still haven't seen a lot of the other Marvel shows, so I haven't seen the Punisher. I haven't seen Daredevil.
I don't even remember that song. I don't remember
I
much
love
of
that
Halloween
song.
Kills.
I thought that song was really good. That was one of the best things about one of the better things about the film for me. Hunter's
Oh,
Moon.
hey, I mean that would be interesting. Count of Owls in the next movie. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I just really enjoyed the movie. Yeah, that's what I liked about it. That's what I wanted.
I think the Batman could have been even better if it did like go full R. Like to have that extra edge. Like
Yeah.
that would have been really cool to see.
I disagree with that. I don't think Penguin was generic. I don't think
Yeah.
Batman really felt like a superhero.
No, I didn't think Batman felt like a superhero at all because he showed a lot of vulnerability in this, more than he has in a lot of the other films. I mean, that climax, he's really stuck between a rock and a hard place at one point. And you could see the look of like fear in his face. He's hanging off
Yeah.
the thing. He's just like, oh fuck. Like you get that like oh fuck kind of moment for Batman where you see a lot more humanity.
Or at least not as more superhero as like the other Batmans.
I mean, Nolan, his Batman fell off. What he fell off a multi-story building, landed on a car, and got up, and it was nothing, was
Was
fine,
he on fire? Or was that
something
another?
like that. Maybe that was a different movie. I don't, but I mean, yeah, here he shows
Yeah,
more
he was on
weakness.
in the Dark Knight. Was he on fire and then
Yeah,
he went all the way down and
yeah.
he's like,
Well, I don't know if he was on fire in that one. He was on fire at some
oh,
point in the first in Batman Begins. In the
oh,
second
okay.
movie, is there with Rachel, and they go out the door,
He
out the
survived the
window.
bomb in the third one, didn't he?
Yeah,
The bomb, whatever the hell it was, a neutron
I
bomb,
mean,
neutron
yeah,
dance.
in the Batman, you know, you have that moment in the climax too where he's overwhelmed. The guy's about to shoot him, and he gets saved, and then later on he injects himself with adrenaline because he's just so
That was pretty
banged
badass.
up.
I like that. I
Yeah.
thought that was a pretty badass moment. I've never seen Attack on Titan, so
I
I've
haven't
heard
seen it
people
either.
talk about it.
I've heard a lot of people talk about it too.
I agree with that. Yep, I agree with that.
I agree
Uh,
too, and I like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, but the Batman to me is just better than any of them.
Favorite Weird Al song. Uh,
I love a lot of his songs. Like I'm a big fan of Weird Al's.
yeah, I
That's
like
tough.
him. I don't know. I always, for some reason, the one that sticks with me is "I Lost on Jeopardy, baby." I don't know why that one always.
There was one that he did that wasn't necessarily a parody of a song, but it was like just a parody of a style of a song that I really like. Um, that he was talking about, it was like some kind of breakup song. I like that one. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I got a funny feeling that you don't love me anymore. Oh, and he's talking about like why his girlfriend puts poisonous cobras in his underwear drawer. I get a kick out of that one. I like the parody he did of Eminem. You know, Lose Yourself, but this time it's Lose Yourself in television. Jurassic Park's a fun song. You know, the Jurassic Park parody he did of like these one of those old songs from back in the day with the high pitched vocals and stuff.
Yeah, that's another reason why I hated No Way Home. Fuck No Way Home. Just have to throw it there. Hey, thank you, Jay. Thank you for the kind words.
Hey Matt,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on Lethal Weapon 5?
it's not needed. It's not needed at all. It's too late. They're too old. It's done. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't need a Lethal Weapon 5, which is funny because someone's like, oh, I have a taste of nostalgia love. If I have a taste of nostalgia love, I would want Lethal Weapon 5. I would want Scream 5. I don't.
You would like No Way Home.
Yeah, I would
More,
like. I would love
yeah.
Spider-Man. Look, it's just nostalgia. I like 1917. I like Uncut Gems. I like the new Batman because it was refreshing. Try something different. Searching with John Cho. Malignant. I mean, the list goes on, but people don't want to hear it. So go figure.
But I mean, yeah, Lethal Weapon 5, I don't think it's needed either. I know some people are like, whoa, it's out of appreciation and respect for Richard Donner. And I'm like, why do you need to bring him into this? Like, even if he was alive, I still would be like, this is not needed. So it's just not needed. We don't need a Lethal Weapon 5. Lethal Weapon 4 was pushing it anyway.
Yeah, they're old. They were getting too old by part 4. What more to be done? How old is Danny Glover? I mean, I don't even know
So
how
he's
old
up
Danny
there.
Glover is.
He's definitely up there in age.
This gotta be a joke. It's Spectre
I
Jack. I have to think that's a
haven't seen
joke.
I haven't seen The Peacemaker yet, but I've heard a lot of good things and I do want to check it out. I don't know. I mean, if it's a joke, it's actually kind of clever. If it's actually something he's doing for real, like just for the sheer what the fuck of it all, I mean, I might be kind of curious to see what he's got in store, but I doubt that's actually legit.
It doesn't matter. It still sucks as a movie. It sucks as a miniseries. It sucks as something that was on front of a camera. I don't need to see a bunch of women singing in a choir, sniffing Aquaman's dirty shirt like she thinks it's a pair of undies.
I don't need to
While
see
quiet.
the Flash essentially give a woman bad touch in slow motion. I don't need to see that
Ready to put a hot dog in
at
the mouth.
all.
Like a hot
No,
dog through a donut.
it's just fucking wrong. Like it's some hero and he's doing creepy shit like that. Like what the fuck?
Just the Flash was just an annoying twerp.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I look forward to his movie. Oh yeah, thank you, Fadi. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Hey there. Um, hello to everyone else. Yeah, I definitely miss Gene Hackman. Great
Yeah.
act.
Yeah. Great range. Good in comedy, good in dramas. I don't think he did a lot of horror. Now that I think about it, like, did he do any horror films?
None I can think of. Nah, I don't think so. Hero do you like more? I would go with John McClane out of those three.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
EPK, motherfucker.
yeah, especially the first couple diehards. Worst fights. Yeah, it's close.
I would say I've seen some direct-to-video movies from like Action International Pictures that, or I think it was Action International, that are worse, but it's still up there. It's still
like
really
for a
bad.
big budget movie.
Oh,
It's up there.
definitely way, way, way up there. Especially for someone who's a fan of the Nightfall, Night's End comics that it essentially just takes a shit on. I mean, you just read the comic. You just read the comic when Bane fights Batman, and there's just so much going on in that. There's just so much better than what they did in that movie.
That movie's a piece of shit. Freddy got fingered as, and it's a piece of shit. It could finger its own.
What? You don't want any sausage?
I don't want any Tom Green. I don't want any of his shtick. I don't want any of his stupid, raunchy shock humor, shot jock, horse shit. Fuck Freddy got fingered. Stick a finger up his own ass. I much prefer the bat suit in this compared to Nolan's bat suits. I like the way it's look. I like the aesthetic more.
Me too. It's not as iconic as something like what Michael Keaton did, his suit looks like, or even some aspects of some of the other Batman. but I think it's got a good enough look to it, and I think it'll evolve as this franchise goes on. I actually don't think this is going to be the final suit that he's going to be using for every movie.
I have not seen the new Dune.
I haven't yet either, and I'm a big fan of at least the David Lynch version of Dune. So I should be one of those people that should have went out and saw it like immediately, but I haven't checked it out yet. I want to. I want to revisit David Lynch's Dune again and then check that out. I've said this before. I think I'll be one of those few people that's be like, I still like David Lynch's Dune better. Like I think I really will be in that boat, because this is like part one of a multi-part series of films apparently, and like it has like an ending where everything's just not. It just kind of ends on not necessarily a cliffhanger, but it just doesn't really wrap things up. And Lynch's Dune is a contained story, so I think I probably prefer that more just for that reason alone.
We got Jonathan Lindsay, Drew Guy on here. My
Akira?
favorite anime, yeah. Akira would be it'd be mine. Akira. I also liked. I always forget the name of this. Cobra's in the title. I forget. There's another anime with Cobra.
Something Assault Cobra.
Something like that, but
No,
Akira
it's a Cobra Assault Cannon.
maybe Space Adventure.
I'm thinking of the Cobra Assault Cannon from RoboCop. That's what I'm thinking of.
I think it's like Space Adventure Cobra or something.
Oh
That
yeah,
would be good.
yeah.
But,
I really like the North Star. I like that one. I really like Paprika. I think that's a good one.
Let's see. What was your favorite scene in the Batman? Favorite scene. Obviously, this would be spoilers for those who haven't seen it. My favorite is the last action bit, because I really like the choreography. It was the final like justification of him being a hero, not just a vigilante.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I would say it's
I
kind of
would
a
say
tie.
that it
Go
ends
ahead.
with the cool like the red light.
Yeah, him being the beacon of hope for Gotham with
I
the
really like that moment.
yeah, I love that moment too. I was going to mention that moment myself. I would say it's a tie between that moment for me and the Batmobile chase with Penguin.
Yeah, that was a good moment too.
I also really like the nightclub scene where he just goes in and starts just kicking ass. That's a cool scene as well.
Well, apparently it's going to happen to on Mike's
It's gonna
post.
happen, and the guy who it's directed by Sean Levy, who did Free Guy and the Adam Project, and I liked Free Guy, but the more I think about it, like I wasn't really in love with it. Sean Levy is not the right guy for a Deadpool film. I know he has a good relationship with Ryan Reynolds. That's cool. That's awesome. That's great. He just has not done anything like Deadpool in his entire career for the most part. He directed some episodes of Stranger Things. That's not really the same wheelhouse.
Didn't he also do like the Pink Panther with Steve Martin or something?
Yeah, he did. And he did Night at the Museum movies. So it's the guy, it just doesn't seem like the right fit to me. And I just think the film's going to suffer because of that. You have a guy who has not a lot of experience doing these kind of movies. He could blow me away. He could surprise me like the Russos did. The Russos did You Mean Dupree and then did Winter Soldier, and were just absolutely amazing. So, and I hope he does, and Ryan's going to have a lot of involvement with it because Deadpool is his baby. I'm just worried about it because it's in the Disney MCU. It's under their banner. It's under their rules.
It's Disney.
And
that's all you have to say. It's Disney.
I'm just worried about it. I just think it's going to lose something. It's going to lose a certain edge. It's going to lose a certain sense of authenticity. It just seems like something's just going to be missing.
It's Disneyfied and petrified.
I'm not going to say it's necessarily going to be politically correct. I'm not going to necessarily say that it's not going to be R. I'm just saying it just seems like there's going to be something that's just missing. Like the magic isn't going to be there.
I hope it's
I do too. Like as a huge fan of Deadpool, like I really hope I am wrong. I hope and pray I am wrong, but it just doesn't. The vibes are not good.
No.
I mean, the original writer's getting forced out, replaced by this writer who hasn't done much of anything except some episodes of Bob's Burgers. Sean Levy as the director. It's it's just I don't know.
And to answer this question, yes, Rob Zombie's wife is in the Monsters.
Of course
She's in
she is.
everything.
Of course.
I want to mention this because a lot of people say this, but there's a reason. There's a reason why Bruce Wayne's not in the Batman much is because the whole story is that Bruce Wayne doesn't think Bruce Wayne needs to exist. He thinks Batman needs to be around 24/7. That's how he's dealing with his grief. That's how he's dealing with
Yeah,
his
he's
anger.
wallowing in his grief and anger for most of his life at this point.
He even says that Bruce Wayne, because when Alfred's like, "You need to go out, you need to do this," he's like, "I can't do anything like as Bruce Wayne. I need to be Batman 24/7." And it's
Yeah.
like when you're addicted to drugs or any type of obsession of getting too much, it's self-destructive and it will go into further of him becoming more like Bruce Wayne. But here, it's like I have to be Batman 24/7. And with the way his demeanor is, it showcases how unhealthy that is.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
think it worked, and
yeah.
I think you nailed it. You definitely nailed it. It's one of those things where it's showing an interpretation of Bruce that is more focused on vengeance, more suicidal. He even says that. There's that really good scene with him and Alfred, and he's talking about how suicidal he was, and I think this film is just showing the evolution of Bruce and the evolution of Batman as both a man and as a hero. And I like that. I thought it was very different. It's another one of the many things about the Batman that are refreshing and different. Like you haven't seen that Bruce Wayne that often in a Batman movie.
Yeah, exactly.
If you think about it, the Burton films, Bruce Wayne is a lot like that. You're just kind of aloof. He's kind of focusing on Batman more than he is his Bruce Wayne stuff, at least in the beginning. But then, showed a little bit more of that later on.
Exactly.
And you got to have a jumping off point. You got to have some, why have him be Playboy Bruce right away? I just don't think that would really work that well. And also, it wouldn't work with the tone of the film. Can you imagine Playboy Bruce in the Batman the way that it's structured? It would just seem so out of place.
But at least they give an actual reason and build up for it, which I
Yeah.
understood fully. Because then it leads to growth and you see the possibility of growth in the future. And that's one of the points that I like
And I
about
think he
it.
definitely will. I think Bruce will be more of a philanthropist, for instance, in later films
Yeah,
to
because
try
they
to make
mentioned
up what happened,
that.
what was revealed when it comes to his father's legacy.
Yeah, because that was another point of the film. Secrets of the city, secrets of his parents. That's also helps change his wanting to be better and
He wants to show that the sins of the father, are not
the,
something that
the
should
you
define
know,
him.
exactly. Let's see. Which Joker is my favorite? Jack Nicholson.
Jack for me too.
I
Just
think I always
a
like Jack Nicholson.
just a great bit of casting, just born for a role like that. Just went into it full tilt, and it's just so enjoyable and fun to watch. Heath Ledger is a different interpretation, but it's a really good interpretation. It's just that I don't really prefer that interpretation of the Joker. I prefer closer to what Jack Nicholson brought to it. I would say if we're talking about my favorite interpretation of the Joker ever, it's actually Mark Hamill in Batman animated series.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jack Nicholson for the fun and joy, but I'm a big fan of Jack. Joaquin Phoenix still did a really good job.
He did a good job too. I definitely don't want to
Yeah,
mispoint at him, but that's for that interpretation, for that, and
yeah.
he did a great job. But like I'm just more into the Jack Nicholson, Mark Hamill interpretation of the character.
John Lindsay has some nice words for you.
Yeah,
Very cool.
thank you. Definitely got those coming up.
I've never heard of Hilda. I don't know what that is. And nope, nothing about that. So first time I've heard of it. Let's see. Yes, that's one of the many reasons.
Yeah.
Always,
I hate this trend of deconstructing and just taking these established, well-liked characters and just bringing them down to nothing and leaving them there.
you loser. They're all losers. Well, the movie's a loser. Fuck Stream 5.
I mean, what's the point of breaking somebody down like that if you don't build them back up? Like, I've made this point many times that I think it really should be repeated. It's pointless to break a character down like that and not have a redemption arc. It's fucking pointless.
They don't care about this. Very good guy here, John. Hope you're doing well. Very cool guy on here. Hello there. I like Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. I think that's actually a little bit underrated.
I liked it too. It's not one of my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street films, but it's a good film. It has a lot of unique stuff in terms of the storytelling. I can see why some people aren't too big on it. It's a very different Elm Street film than the other films in the series.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite Scott Hall match. It would be him as Razor Ramon. And I probably would go back to either the match he had with Bret Hart or probably the latter match with Shawn Michaels. Which I know is an obvious one, but that's the one I always think of.
Yeah, I haven't seen as many of his matches as I would like, so I probably can't say much, except I did see the ladder match, and that was pretty awesome. So that would probably be up there for me as well.
Yeah. Have not seen Backtrack with Dennis Hopper.
Heard about it. Yeah. I think doesn't that one also have Jodie Foster in it? Like, yeah, there's one of those movies where it's got like a crazy cast, Dennis Hopper and all these other people.
In a way, yeah, because number one, Disney does not need more companies. It's already a monopoly as is. And while Fox has messed up and which led to their downfall, yeah, I would rather prefer it to be its own entity anyway. I just do better work.
Yeah.
At least with Fox, with some of their properties, maybe like they did Logan, Deadpool 1 and 2. Maybe there's room for them to get better other than the shitty X-Men films. But maybe that one fucking film, The New Moons, wouldn't have been fucked up. Who knows?
Yes and no. I do miss Fox as its own entity because it wasn't as limited in terms of creativity or storytelling or some of the risks that it could take. But on the other hand, I don't miss it because they fucked up so much that we call them 20th century fuckface. Like they just fucked up so much that they weren't reliable anymore as a studio. At least the people that were in charge. I wish that if it was going to be absorbed into another major studio, I wish it was Comcast. I know people hate Comcast. I know people don't like that idea. But Comcast has owned Universal and NBC for a long time, and they have enabled that studio to be pretty much its own thing. They haven't gotten involved pretty much in any capacity, really. They just let Universal do whatever they want. They allow Universal to have Blumhouse and have them do their films under the Blumhouse banner. There's not a lot of this. Oh, we got to protect the brand. We got to protect the image. We got to do this and that. And they did it for quite a long time. And so I have faith, and I had more faith in Comcast and what they would have done with the studio. They would have kept it as 20th Century Fox. They would have never changed the name, for one. And they already worked well with Universal and NBC, so it just would have been kind of a seamless sort of thing.
I think for me, I just would prefer even more separate companies from each other.
Yeah.
Just the more companies, the more wiggle room, the more room of going to different places where it's not, we're combining all this to do our streaming to be the next Netflix.
Yeah,
Maybe they
I
should
agree.
try that, but
I agree. I 100%. But if it was just one of those things where that wasn't going to happen, so to me, the better option would have been for Comcast to win that battle.
Yeah.
Because Disney, I mean, oh my God, Fantastic Four, the MCU, and X-Men. It's like, all right, cool, fine. Disney is known for being brand first. Oh, but look what the Netflix Marvel shows did. That was separate from Disney. Like they didn't really have a lot of input on that.
They're doing an Alien film with Hulu with the director
Yeah,
of the Dead remake.
they're doing a fucking Predator movie that's woke as fuck.
Well, maybe, probably.
Oh, probably. Like
Probably.
maybe it's not, but I'm pretty
I would be.
sure it
Yeah.
will be. Considering one of the synopsises that leaked from a
Great.
source that was pretty accurate when it comes to the leak for the Predator. So
Fantastic.
yeah. But who knows? Maybe they'll just do an amazing job with
I doubt it.
with Deadpool and
I
with
fucking
the,
doubt it.
because I'm just remembering what they did with Miramax and all those other companies. I'm remembering what they did with Judge Dredd. They were the ones that butchered it and censored it and cut it to pieces because they thought it was too violent.
Yeah, well, they were wrong.
If somebody requests it, sure, but not anytime soon.
Thank you to JC. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, just real quick, like the mother in that was such a fucking twat waffle. It's a fucking dumbass, idiot, moronic, dumb fuck. I don't remember what that was. The Judy Bloom.
Oh, the Judy Bloom. Yeah. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, I mean, yeah, if you're familiar with Morbius, you definitely know more about it than me. This is for you, Mike. Are you going to see Ari Aster's 4-hour horror comedy?
4 hours?
That's what he says.
The guy who isn't funny at all? Like, I've never really found any of his humor in any of his movies funny. 4 hours? Fuck. Disappointment Boulevard is the perfect title because that's all that I will ever get from Ari Aster. It's just one block of disappointment after another.
Exactly. Let's see. Fuck Ari Aster. He did Midsommar, right? In those movies.
And Hereditary.
Yeah, fuck them.
He's an amazing visionary, Matt.
He can visualize my ass when I sit on his face.
He's one of the best writers. He makes some of the best horror movies in decades.
Well, that's why that's why movies suck nowadays. Then.
Because they're elevated horror films, man. They're elevated.
Did he elevate my balls into his mouth?
No, I haven't seen the Chucky show. I've seen clips. I know of a scene where he kills somebody by puking on them, basically, because he pukes on some electronics or whatever and executes somebody.
Like he put alcohol and the alcohol spit out, so it's not puking. Well, it still is.
Okay, he kills somebody with spit.
Might as well be pissing on it.
So I mean, that's not too much of a difference there. I don't know about it. It just doesn't interest me that much. And I'm with Matt. Brad Dourif I love, but he's just sounding tired and haggard.
He does. Favorite lightsaber duel. It depends. If you're talking about emotional, I would go with Return of the Jedi. If you're talking about choreography, I would go with Darth Maul at the end of Phantom Menace.
Snatch the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, I feel the exact same
way. Terry, you would like to see a theatrically released live action that has not been adapted yet. For me, it's Man Bat.
Clayface.
Yeah, that's a good one. But I don't know. I mean, that's tough. That's tough because I'm trying to think like what villains have not been made into live action because Mr. Freeze has with Arnold.
Poison Ivy,
Poison Ivy
Joker.
has, Scarecrow has. Let me get back to that one because I'm not sure. I have to think
I,
about
I,
that.
I brought this up at one point earlier on, but I would like to see a better interpretation of Two-Face, like where he's like the main villain, and they take a page from the comics or the animated series two-parter, which I rewatched again, and that's just tremendous. That two-parter about Two-Face in that show is just so good. The writing in that is just amazing. The performances by the voice actors. I mean, Richard Mall, like wow, like what range.
Heavy Metal, favorite story. My favorite is between the Taxi Cab one and Den with John Candy. Because I thought John Candy did a good job.
I like those are good ones. I think I'll go with the finale. I'll go with the Tarna one. I really like that one. Like the world that it created, and it's pretty awesome in terms of the visuals and stuff.
Actually, man, we mentioned this before. Like Mike likes Godzilla versus Kong. I'm not a fan of it. I liked what was a nonstop war with Liam Neeson. Mike wasn't really big on it.
I love Hook. Hook is one of my favorites,
Yeah,
and
I'm not really big on it.
that's a big one.
I remember you like Howard the Duck more than me.
Yeah, it's got flaws. I don't love it as much as I used to, but I still like it for the weird spectacle that it is.
And I like Ninja Turtles 2 Secret Reviews more than him.
Yeah.
And we
I
can
still
still
have
be
fun.
friends.
I'd still have fun with it, but you know. And I like Rambo too, but he likes it a lot more than me as well.
Exactly. I didn't see Miss Marvel, but I'm sure it was a fucking train wreck.
It looked like a CW show. I agree with everybody. All the criticisms, it looked cheap. It looked lame. It always seemed lame to me anyway. And it looked the part 100%.
What's the difference between her and Captain Marvel? See, that's how far out of the loop I am.
It's just it's a different character. It's like pretty much the same powers.
Great. Fuck. On-air TV pilots, I don't know what were made.
God, there are some, but I would have to like do some research and look them up.
Maybe that Tremors one with Kevin Bacon, just curiosity to see what
That would
happened.
be a good one. I would be curious to see the Beverly Hills Cop unaired pilot. I know it's probably terrible.
Oh, with the one with Eddie Murphy. I'm surprised that never got. Well, I guess they probably have to pay people for their face because they were edited. They probably have to pay residuals, so that's why. But yeah, out of interest might be bad, but just curiosity. Let's see.
I know there's some unaired pilots that I've seen that are shitty, like the Darkman pilot. Like that show would have been straight up garbage. I'm so glad that did not get picked up.
I didn't watch much of Better Call Saul.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that show yet either, and I know I've heard some good things about it. It depends. Depends on the writing, really. That's what it comes down to.
I agree. Fuck Amber Heard. She's a dumb bitch. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Chase. Very cool. Let's see. Yeah, no one gives a shit about the Flash. No one cares. That's the thing.
We got Batman Returns again.
Yeah, the only reason people will see that film is because of Michael Keaton. That's it. That's the thing. Like the Flash, people are not going. Well, there are people that care, but it seems like a lot more people they care more about Keaton than what's the Flash.
Affleck. Because Affleck's also going to be in it too, from what I read.
Yeah, it's those two. It's like Batman 2.5. What the hell? Yes, I do think Eraser's underrated. That's an Arnold film. I do think it's fun. I saw that, I think, on VHS back in the day. Always enjoyed it. I always thought it was a fun Arnold movie. Kind of one of his last old school, as in that sense of humor, wild action.
Chuck
And
Russell
I
did a
hate
great
it.
job directing it.
Uh, Halloween 2 from 1981, although I do like H2O.
Too. I like H2O as well, but Halloween 2. Halloween 2 doesn't have the bullshit nonsense crap with a paramedic ruining the ending of it.
Yes, in my opinion, yeah. Why Seth Rogen? The weed, probably Seth Rogen sold him weed. They had to be high to hire him. Save your sanity. Save my sanity first. I can't fucking save it because Hollywood are so full of shit. I don't understand anything about Hollywood, what they do, what they think, what they feel. And Seth Rogen doing that, and they're going to be a bunch of fucking noobs, a bunch of fucking goobers yet again. And Donnie has to have glasses because we can't write that he's a nerd unless he's got Steve Urkel glasses. That's all we can think of. And Seth Rogen can suck a dick because Seth ain't sucked ass. And now
It's
anytime I
so
see him,
it's sad what happened with Seth because he did a lot of films that early on that I legitimately enjoyed and had a lot of fun with, and I think
yeah,
maybe the fame got to his head or he just got started hanging around with the wrong people that were just injecting all this PC politically correct bullshit into his head, and he's just no longer the same kind of fun loving likable guy anymore. It just become like the epitome of Hollywood elite, which is just the opposite of what he was when he was really in his prime. If you think about it, I think the last great film he was in for me was Neighbors.
yeah, I liked that one as well. I didn't give a rat's ass about Obi-Wan. I saw that trailer, and this is over the guy. Since people say I hate everything, I like The Mandalorian season 1 and 2. Really, I think it's the best Star Wars in the longest time. And Obi-Wan did nothing for me.
Obi-Wan trailer didn't impress me at all. It didn't impress me much. Just like the Boba Fett trailer didn't impress me. It looks like another cheap show. Another show where Obi-Wan probably won't be the main focus. I don't understand the
He
logic.
wasn't. He wasn't the main focus in the trailer. He was barely in the trailer. It was more about some lady. Who the fuck the lady
Yeah,
was?
who the fuck cares about an Obi-Wan show if he's not the focus? It's like the Boba Fett show. Like, who gives a shit if he's not the main attraction, the main lead, and we're following all these other fucking people? I just, and it's not like with Boba Fett where you kind of have maybe a reason because Boba Fett's kind of a limited character, but like with Obi-Wan, like there's no reason for that. He's not a limited character at all. Like it's just, it seems like with these Disney Star Wars shows, it's an excuse for Disney and the writers to force their politics, and that's just, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of this identity politics shit that's just forced in there. Like I don't really. That's not what Star Wars is to me.
Yeah, I mean, if it's in there and it's done like, okay, is that a big deal? Fine.
Yeah, but it
But
hasn't been. See, that's the thing. It usually isn't. Like, it's not the fact that it's there that's the issue. It's how it's there. It's how it's presented.
right.
Usually, it's just in your face, shoving it down your throat, and it's just stuff that I don't want to deal with. It makes you want to gag. Like, get this shit out of my throat. Thank you, Tim.
Let's see. He's asking you, do you want to see Howard the Duck in Deadpool 3 or in its own reboot?
Uh, it depends. I don't know. It's just, I need to see more of these Marvel movies before I really say anything. But I mean, Captain Marvel was the last one I saw, and that was so shitty and so bad.
Yeah,
It
you
doesn't
ain't
seem,
missing much.
doesn't seem like they've changed a lot in terms of their writing, because what I've been hearing about No Way Home. So I don't know.
Yes, I will be doing that sometime in the coming week, so stay tuned for that. But thank you. Let's see. Yeah, different Tom Holland, but yeah, it's I get what you mean. Yeah, it's funny they have the same. name. Yeah, yeah, he will be playing as just a rock in the earthquake.
A rock in the jungle, because he's like in the jungle in every movie.
Yes, I did see season 1 and 2. Most some of them for the first time, and I would say Bender the robot became my favorite
Yeah,
character.
Bender's my
Definitely
favorite too. I like Fry too. I relate to him a lot, but I would say Bender. Bite my shiny metal ass.
exactly. Favorite Walter Hill movie.
Hmm.
I would say for me, I will say I like Last Man Standing. I like Southern Comfort, but I gotta say 48 Hours for me.
That's a good choice. I really like that one. I'm gonna go out of the box. I'm gonna go with Streets of Fire. I really like that film. I love the soundtrack. I love the whole aesthetic. And I know it's not for everyone, but I legitimately really love that movie.
This is a question for you. What do you think about the two
I
Jumanji
haven't
films with The
seen the
Rock?
second Jumanji movie with The Rock. I know I did not care for the first Jumanji movie with The Rock. I thought it sucked. It was Welcome to the Bunghole was more like it.
The Rock with his jungle fetish. Fucking every other
And
movie's in
Kevin
a
Hart,
jungle.
I can't stand Kevin Hart, man. What's
You
funny
like
is like the one film that I liked with him in it was a movie that The Rock was in Central Intelligence.
you didn't like Ride Along?
No,
We
fuck
did a
ride
review, of
along.
course.
I'd rather do an actual ride along with the police. Definitely be more entertaining. Definitely be more worthwhile.
My favorite DC anime film is The Dark Knight Returns with Peter Weller as Batman.
That's up there for me, but I also really like Mask of Phantasm and Batman Beyond: The Return of the Joker.
Favorite Batman actor, I think it's still Michael Keaton. Still
Yeah,
Michael
Keaton for
Keaton.
me too. Rewatch Batman Returns. There were some slight subtle things that I really liked about his performance in that. I like the moment when he actually breaks character when he's trying to escape from the cops, try to get through the tight alley, and then he flips the switch on the Batmobile and it doesn't work right away, whatever he's trying to get it to do. It's like, oh, now I'm a little worried. No, I like that bit. That was a way for Keaton to kind of make it his own, and I just like how he portrays Batman as a genuinely troubled and legitimately crazy guy because it makes sense. Like you got to be somewhat nuts to go out and do what Batman does.
You would think. Uh, I have not seen a lot of James Dean films, so I can't really answer that much. I just haven't seen much of his films.
I can't see
This
much
is
about
this is for you. Your favorite animated Disney film.
it. Oh man, I really like Toy Story. I really like Aladdin and the Lion King. Um, so those would be like the ones that come to mind. The Disney Renaissance era, a lot of those films. I also really enjoy Rescuers Down Under. I think that one's pretty underrated. And I like the DuckTales movie. I watched the DuckTales movie like all the time when I was a kid growing up.
Hmm. Favorite Marvel character.
Goofy
Back,
movie. That's another.
but growing up in comics, I read a lot of Spider-Man and Punisher. Those were my two favorite Marvel comic characters.
For me, it was Spider Man, and a close second was Captain America. I Spider Man was first. I watched the animated series on Fox Kids every chance I had. And I checked out a lot of Spider-Man comics in the library. I would get a bunch of Spider-Man comics. I had these collections called the Essential collections. They were collections of issues, but they were black and white. They weren't color. I had a bunch of those. Um, yeah, huge fan of Spider-Man. But Captain America was another one. I loved Cap. I loved Captain America. I still love Cap, and of course Deadpool. Deadpool's way up there. Like Spider-Man, I would say, as a kid, Spider-Man and Captain America were like really up there. But when I got into my teens and I got a hold of the first Deadpool comic that I ever had the opportunity to own, which was a comic that was included free in an issue of Wizard magazine, It was like Deadpool versus a bunch of these Marvel villain rejects, and like I just fell in love with the character at that point. It was like issue 0, it's a Wizard magazine exclusive. Like if you could track it down, it's a lot of fun. Deadpool's just going through all these Marvel villains that were just lame as hell and just taking them on and just murking them right and left, and usual fucking deadpan and comedy. Yeah, it's a blast.
Hey, old Bento, we saw your trailer. We wonder why it sucks.
Wonder why you're barely even in your own show.
Yeah, why you're not in your show? It has your name in it. Mine, I was liking Cartman, but now I'm liking Butters quite a bit.
Butters, yeah.
So I would say it would be him right now.
Kind of like between Kyle and Cartman for me.
I have not seen Jackass Forever. I do want to see it sometime. I just haven't had time. Been busy with the paid request, but I like the Jackass movie, so I like to see that sometime.
It's not the same without some people, like Bam, but it's understandable what happened and why he wasn't in it.
Yeah. I do like Nirvana. And again, in the new Batman, they use that music very well. But I do like them. I've always liked them. I don't listen to them as much as other bands, but yeah, I never had an issue with Nirvana.
I like Nirvana. I'm not like a huge, enormous fan of Nirvana, but I do like them. Favorite William Forsythe film?
Yeah. I mean, that he's
Justice, right?
Yeah, I mean that's my favorite Steven Seagal film, Out for Justice. William Forsythe is in that. He was also in Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth. So that's a good one. It probably would be Out for Justice.
I gotta think about the movies he's in. I know Out for Justice.
He's in Dead Bane. That's another good one. Don Johnson.
One. He's in Firestorm, I think, right?
Yeah,
he was in Tracy. It was underused. That's my top.
Yeah. Let's see. Never heard of that YouTuber. Sorry, don't know who that is.
Oh, I haven't heard of that guy.
No, I don't think Seagal can make a good film again. I think it's too late.
I think it's too late.
He's just too late. He's too far gone.
He's too egocentric and doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's never been humble. He never will be.
There's no passion. There's no passion left. He ate it all.
Like a big piece of pie. I love the first Power. Love it.
Great movie. Absolutely underrated gem. So many good things about it, from the direction to the performances. Jeff Kober is so good in that as the killer.
Yeah, LDP for life. Love that film. Good visual aesthetics, interesting set pieces. Wish the director had done more movies after it. Thanks for the kind words. This is a Rambo hat. This was a nice gift, which was similar to another hat I had. So thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, nostalgia is overused a lot nowadays. But yeah, we live in the past, but we keep saying nostalgia is getting too old.
Well, a lot of people who definitely want to keep living in the past. If you judge the box office numbers for these nostalgia bait movies. I really like Wayne's World. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, very fun film.
It's one of the few instances of an SNL movie that actually does work and captures the same magic as the skits. One of my favorite moments in that film that still cracks me up every time is when they're doing that little thing where they're behind a green screen and they're talking about going to all these different places. In Majestic, Hawaii, and then Delaware. I'm in Delaware. Like, just the way that Mike Myers says it just kills me every time.
Probably the part I think of it was two. One is all the sponsorships they deal with, all the like the Pepsi and
sell out.
Or at the end, near the finale, where I never knew how to read. Like Mike Myers, that was very funny. When Mike Myers was doing stuff, which is too
Even
bad you
sort of
don't see
just the
it.
random stuff, like when they open a door and there's like this dojo with all these fucking ninjas and shit, like out of a James Bond movie, or the bit where they do a recreation of the Laverne and Shirley intro.
Oh yeah, that's true. I've not seen One Shot with Scott Atkins. I've heard of it, but I just haven't seen it. Davey Viz, very nice guy. Hope you're doing well too. Um, your favorite film where the villain is the main character? Well, I guess technically Scarface for me, because he's technically a villain.
Yeah,
That's out
that's a
there.
good pick. Hmm. That's interesting. That's tough. I mean, there's a lot of horror films where you could say the villain's the main character.
Any T-shirt, I actually have the Alan Wake on PS4 over there. It's a good game. Very underrated game.
You'd have to think about that one, with the villain being the main character.
Yeah. Yeah, it is going to suck. I'm sure it's going to suck.
I would say Maniac is up there with Jeff Spinell. I mean, sorry, not Jeff Spinell. Joe.
Joe Spinell.
And so is Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. Like that, those two are up there for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the director streaming Predator sequel, it's gonna suck. I mean, the idea is just it's just a bad idea to me. It just sounds like fan fiction that I don't want anything to do with. I mean, the casting, like this actress who looks like she weighs 40 pounds, playing this badass Native American to take down the Predator and prove that the patriarchy of Native American tribes is a bunch of bullshit.
That's in the script?
That's what I've heard the rumors are, for the rumors of people saying that it's all that's what's going on.
So, okay, what were the full things? Do you remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember a lot of that about like, oh, Native American woman, and she's going to show the men in the tribe that she can be a warrior, that kind of stuff.
But she can't. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm joking, folks. But it probably will suck ass because that's been a good Predator film since 1990. That's why
like Predator Skulls, or I've even heard like they're not even just going to be called Skulls.
Well, call it Skull Fuck. Because that's how you feel watching it.
I'll just stick with the Predator comics if I want to see in a different, take. In fact, there's so many comics from Dark Horse, you could have just adapted one of those stories. Why does it have to be this bullshit? I've heard like, oh, it's loosely inspired by one of them. Like, why don't you just actually adapt one of them?
Takes too much work for him. Yeah, I don't know why there's an I Am Legend sequel.
Didn't he die?
I guess they'll base off the alternate ending where he doesn't die.
The one that people don't like? Isn't that the one that people don't like? If I remember correctly?
Actually, I think that's the better ending.
Okay, yeah.
Because it actually delves into that the monsters are not as evil as you think.
But
and
at the same time, like, what that would defeat the purpose of that ending. Like, oh, now they're evil again. Like, what? Now he's gonna hunt them again. Like, what?
I'm not saying it should be made. It's stupid. And people say, this is why we get mad. Is like running out of ideas for that shit. Fucking bullshit.
If it even gets made.
Oh, Moon Knight we were talking about, not Moonlight. That's a different movie.
And the Oscar goes
to Moon Knight from Marvel. Favorite Star Trek actor.
That's kind of tough because there's a lot of Star Trek actors I like. I mean, I do like William Shatner as Captain Kirk, Leonard Nimoy as Spock, DeForest Kelly as Bones. It's kind of a tie between those three for me because I really love their dynamic and all of them are really good together.
Yeah, that's why the original show and movies are my favorite, is especially those three.
I also like Patrick Stewart and Brent Spiner and Randall Frakes and not Jonathan Frakes. Once again, I get confused at fucking offer named Randall Frakes for some stupid reason.
I haven't Clits. There you go. I haven't seen those TV shows, so I can't say much about them.
Heard about him. Haven't seen him yet either.
Well, not really. He was fighting like Batman before. That just gave him a boost when he needed the most.
Yeah, he got shot in the chest. So
I think he was fighting like Batman before and quite a few times, even before that. So I disagree with that. Afraid to do R-rated. That's what it feels like. I hope it changes.
I mean,
Joker was rated R.
It did a lot of
Joker's
business
rated
for
R.
Warner Brothers and
Yeah, Suicide Squad. Although it
Suicide
didn't do
Squad
well, but it was rated
as
R.
well. The Peacemaker is technically, it's not a movie, but it is a very violent show. And Deadpool, both those movies did really well.
Let's see.
I thought Deadpool would create, an effect where there would be more movies that were R-rated, but that's not what happened at all, which was really kind of surprising considering how much money both Deadpool movies made. I thought there would be some other character that a studio would try to take advantage of that, and it just never really happened.
Very Lethal Weapon villain. I'd probably still go with Gary Busey in the first one.
Yeah, he's really good. It's good. That's a good pick.
The Killing Joke. You mean the comic or the movie? Because the movie.
The comic is great.
Yeah.
The movie I liked more than Matt, but I do have issues with it. Mainly the stuff with Batgirl, which is just thrown in there, which is just weird, and I don't like.
Why did she fuck that then?
Because Bruce Timm, like, as much as I love Bruce Timm for what he did with the animated series, like, he has some legit kind of issues. Like, really? He's got some kind of fetishes and shit that he throws into things, and that's one of those things.
Well, you can go with DeviantArt for that. Doesn't mean put it in the fucking movie. And yeah, the comic is good, but that kind of hurt the movie. Like, the first half is about this, and that's its culmination is Batman and she fucked.
And not just that, like, the other writing in that was bad. Like, the stuff with her gay best friend, like, that seemed like it was just forced and thrown in there for representation. And
I don't know why I was thinking of Heather's. I love my dead gay son. I love my dead gay best friend. But that's a film
that would never get made today. They tried to do a TV show, but that got canceled.
Didn't people give you crap
for initially? But then there were a lot of people who were like, "Yes." I actually got a lot of views and a lot of people that were like, "Yes."
And it didn't last long, so go figure.
That were like, "This is bullshit."
From who?
From fans of Heather's, that were like, "This is bullshit. This is everything that the movie is." I don't know what the fuck you're doing. And it didn't even, not even all the episodes aired.
It was that good.
And it was on a network that lasted for like seconds. Like the Paramount Network, like the first film for me. Classic. The third one I have fun with. I think it's got some nice, clever bits of satire. The second one I like. The fourth one I was just iffy on. Wasn't really big on it. Beverly Hills Cop 4 on Netflix. I mean, I've heard about that. We'll see. I was more excited after Dolomite Is My Name, but then the same people did Coming to America.
Exactly. They've been talking about Beverly Hills Cop 4 forever. It just still didn't make it. Netflix wants content badly to try to deal with Disney Plus and Amazon, all these other fucking things, but I don't look forward to it after Coming to America 2. We'll do this a little bit longer, about 10 more minutes, because it did a bit late, but thank you guys out there, because we're over 2 hours and we still have 84 people watching. Thank you guys. It's been a lot of fun. You missed out, but yes, we didn't see it, and we both liked it.
Yep.
Mike has a review. I will be doing a review in a coming week, and we both did enjoy the film. Yeah, you did. You did go to school in film
Yeah, I did
school.
go to it's not necessarily film school, but I did go to film studies. I did major have a minor in that at college, so I have studied. Um,
Let's see.
although there's some stuff that I did learn that I just learned on my own. So one of those things where you can maybe say it was like an instance of no study.
Let's see. What do you think about Thomas Ian Griffith?
He's an okay actor. I mean, I like Excessive Force. He's good in that. He's had some other moments where he's decent. I didn't like him in Karate Kid 3. And one of the other films I saw him in was like Ulterior Motives, and that was a terrible movie. Shitty. And he was pretty forgettable in that. Um, I just think he's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's bad in films like Karate Kid 3, but I think I did see bits of the Excessive Force movie. He didn't seem that bad in that movie.
Yeah, he's
Excessive.
good in that. But as an overall actor, yeah, it's just there. Kind of the same way I feel about like Jeff Wincott or some of those other action stars of the 90s.
Yeah, I agree. That's another aspect I did enjoy about it. I
It
also
shows
hope
him as a flawed hero in a multitude of different ways. I think the Batman did a better job showing that than Nolan did, because Nolan tried to do that too. Oh, he's human and blah blah blah, and he's flawed. But I just feel that it had more impact in the Batman.
favorite villain from Steven Seagal. For me, William Forsythe, Out for Justice, but that's my favorite Seagal film.
He's up there for sure. Probably my pick. I also really like William Sadler and Hard to Kill.
I like both, but I would go with Lockup between those two.
Yeah,
Definitely check it.
I think Lockup wins hands down. I rewatched Death Warrant. I like it okay, but Lockup for me, like that's a much better film with a guy in prison in terms of that sort of plot.
Exactly. First Power 100, very good guy. Hope you're doing well. I would say both, but which one more? Chainsaw Massacre or Halloween series? Chainsaw Massacre. I, I, I both, but Chainsaw Massacre I would say more so because at least there's more Halloween films I like. I like 1, 2, 3, 4, H2O. Chainsaw Massacre, the first two I like, but it's like Leatherface and then 3D before that and fucking this new movie and it just
I've been revisiting the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, and to me, it's no contest. It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it just seems like it's worn out its welcome already. Like it's worn out its welcome years ago. I mean, even Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 was not that great. Like I had, there were some things that I liked about it, and Ken Faree is really good in it, but I just there were a lot of things about that just didn't work for me. Some really dumb stuff, like a little girl with a fucking doll doing yakety yak, don't talk back. Like the fuck? She related to Arnold's character in Twins. Like I expected Arnold to show up and be like, take out the papers and the trash. You won't get no spending cash. Um, and then the fourth film is just a mess with Renee Zellweger telling Leatherface to the shit down. Might as well be to sit down and shut the fuck up. The shit down. Probably was shitting down his leg. He was so terrified and so much of a pussy in that movie. And then the remake, I liked more than I initially did. So I would say the most recent viewing, like I did like it more than I did in the past. And then the beginning was pointless, but at least there were some good things about it. And then the prequel, I was a teenage Leatherface, like fucking awful and forgettable. And then 3D, and then this one, the new one. So yeah, I mean, I liked Halloween Kills more than Matt did. So that's another one that we could throw in there. So
I did not like that at all. I thought it was horrendous. But you liked it, right? You liked
I
it.
liked it. Right, it was I liked it for the gore and for some of the things they were trying to do. I don't think it really lived up to its full potential, but I had fun with it.
Let's see. We could be on for about 5 more minutes. Sorry, guys. Just get a bit late. 2.5 hours. You don't want to make these too long, so that it's too
Yeah,
tiresome.
running out of steam.
Are there any bad movies you're actually embarrassed of liking? No, I'm not really embarrassed on liking anything.
There's some that are guilty pleasures. I mean, Megaforce. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. Return of Swamp Thing. I would say Howard the Duck in some ways. Um, there's a film called Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde. It's definitely a guilty pleasure for me because I saw it when I was a kid. Um, but no, there's not anything that I'm embarrassed of liking because I just don't have that mindset. Like, I don't feel bad. I'm not embarrassed.
I don't. No, I
So
don't
like
feel embarrassed either.
Megaforce as a so bad it's good movie or Hard Rock Zombies. Like, no, I don't feel embarrassed.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of fucked up, really, that people give other people shit, to the point where they feel embarrassed for liking a certain film. Oh, you like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie? That kind of stuff. Or Super Mario Brothers. I'm not embarrassed at all for liking the Super Mario Brothers live action movie.
no, I'm not embarrassed either. I liked
I
it.
still think that'll be better than the animated one with Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing though is that Bruce Willis also, for what I understand, got a set of dementia and
Yeah,
has
he's
losing his memory, and that's
losing
why,
his memory.
for what I understand now, he has like a thing in his ear, and they have
Mhm.
to tell him the dialogue. That's why he's even
Yeah.
more off than usual. So that's why, I mean, I still don't like his movies. I still don't like his new movies.
And I think in some ways he does just do stuff for a paycheck, and
Yeah,
as a comment in terms of like he's always been an asshole. I think there's some truth to that. I mean, he's the
yeah,
reason why with the Broadway Brawl or something that some project he was doing, and he was playing a hockey player,
yeah.
and it was his created his issues with the director or whatever that just caused the film to get shut down because he was just being an asshole about things.
Hmm.
And I've heard some stories, from other people in the industry, and other people that have met him in person. He's just kind of a, not really the nicest guy. But then I've heard other stories where he was fine. And it's kind of a, when it comes to a celebrity or somebody who's in the public eye, like sometimes you just catch them on a bad day,
Yeah.
and
I
some
like,
celebrities
yeah.
have bad days than others.
And Bruce, I liked a lot of his older movies. I like the Return of the Die Hard films. I like Last Man Standing, The Fifth
I
Element,
like
The
that
Last
song.
Breakout.
I enjoyed that movie. It's fun.
Yeah, but yeah, it's sad that what's going on with him. Even if he was an ass, still, I don't wish that on many people. I really don't. So it's too bad. Um, and then we'll get to like one or two more final questions since we're gonna be heading out here in a minute. So trying to find a good one. Thank you guys out there for watching. Still have over 80 people, which is crazy. With that, um, yeah, I mean, that's sadly what has happened. And you can find it online for those who want to look for themselves. Always look up stuff for yourself as well. But this is what we've heard on it. But yeah, we're actually going to head on out. Like I said, we did watch the Batman. Mike has a review of it on his channel. I will have a review of it soon. Good movie, better than Nolan's Batman films. Fuck Nolan's Batman films, in my opinion. Very well done. Um, Nope, we're not real critics. We're just people who have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. News at 11.
Well, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people actually are drawn to us, though, is because we're just regular guys, just sharing our passion for film and being honest. There's a lot of critics out there. They might say they're being honest. They might try to put that facade up there, but they really aren't. And it's just one of those things where fame does change some people, and especially sponsorship deals, all this other stuff, these free perks, getting to go to premieres and all this other stuff, interview celebrities. A lot of people don't want to give that up, so they're just gonna toe the company line. And there are some people though that are still honest no matter what, and to those people I give them tons of respect. But there's a lot of critics out there that are just fucking bullshit artists, and it just upsets me because I see some people getting jobs, they're writing for RogerEbert.com, they're doing all this other stuff, and they're making stuff up and getting mad at things that aren't even in the movie, and painting a picture that's not even remotely true. I know you didn't really care for Last Night in Soho, but there was a critic who was like, there's this one scene where the black guy, he gets in a situation where he's almost blamed for rape, and that's why the movie is racist and why the movie is bad. And that's not at all what's even in the movie. So he doesn't even get blamed at all. So I don't even understand. So you have a lot of critics like that. They just fucking do this shit and make it for clickbait or just try to tap into outrage culture, and it's a shame.
Fuck them then.
I mean, I'll take regular people. I'll take their opinions over people who are just gonna fucking lie.
Or yeah, just be completely full of shit.
Yep.
But with that said, thanks guys for watching. Thanks Mike for hanging out. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
We will see you guys later, and have a good night. Bye bye.